Hey guys. Hey Red Raider. Hey DG. Hey Paula. You got the email? When I saw your email, Paula, I checked out what you suggested and I landed right on it, which is good because I don't listen to stuff like that. And I did rebuke a couple of times too. I think you know what I'm saying. But I landed right on that little part of it that you were telling me about. Isn't that interesting? Very interesting. Thanks for that email. That was something. Okay, so the question on this live chat is, was Shanann in love with another man? Hey, Pink Ladybug. Hey, Sharon. Uh-oh. 5 more hours, huh? Maybe you should really just go back to sleep. Really. Or maybe stay 5 minutes or something and then go back to sleep. Or if you want, I could read. That'll put you to sleep. I'll tell you my opinion. I think she was in love with somebody else. I don't think people post that they have fallen in love with another man and that it will take drastic measures to be with the one they truly belong with, right? Unless they have fallen in love with another man and it's evidently seeming like it's going to take drastic measures to be with the one they truly belong with. And if you look at the timeline of everything, it just makes sense. DG says, I think she was trying to make Chris jealous. I think she probably was trying to make sure that he wasn't able to divorce her until whoever she was in love with was available. Remember that picture in the driveway when she was sitting in the driveway and she just looked so desperate? I think maybe that's when she figured out that sex doesn't mean love. Yes, Sharon, I did. I saw that. Yep, I saw that. Daisy Day says maybe in her own head. I think that she did fall in love with somebody. I think the part that was only in her own head was to think that it was anything other than, you know, a romp in the hay, or maybe a few romps in the hay. I don't know. No, I'm working on getting it all set. I'm up. Oh, let me think. I'm about a third of the way through. I've written all the words. Now I'm just lining up all of the paragraphs and the pages. I was hoping to have it up before this weekend because I know a lot of people, when they're going to the beach and stuff, they want to be able to grab a quick read. It is an interesting point that Daisy Days made. It could have been that she actually did believe that whatever relationship she was talking about was actually love, right? And then the guy could have been like, "You're kidding." You know what I mean? I don't know. That just seems really odd. Drastic measures? What? That just seems really odd. I'm not trying to sound like Megan J or anything, but I've said this before about Shanann. To me, it sounds like a very poorly written script, actually. It kind of makes you wonder what television shows or what movies were out when she posted different things. I wonder if we could find if right around that same time frame there was some sort of a show on where some female star said, "It'll take drastic measures for me to be with the one I truly belong with." You know what I'm saying? Yes, Pink Ladybug, she did. She gave me a great book title. LOL, lots of love. That would be cool if we could search out different television programs and see if there's any kind of a correlation. Yay, Ray's here. Toddler needs supervising. Yeah, that's what toddlers do. Paula thinks that the man who fathered the pregnancy was the one she was in love with, who she fell in love with. Well, I'll tell you guys this. I have heard it from his mother that he is evidently making it sound to his parents as if he doesn't know how that pregnancy could have happened. So, when people are complaining because they're saying anything about wanting to know the results, I guess if your son's telling you that he wasn't intimate with his wife and she got pregnant, I guess you're going to kind of wonder, right? Why do you guys think that Shanann went to North Carolina in 2018? Do you think that had anything to do with whoever she had fallen in love with? Or do you think that she just couldn't afford to pay the daycare center? Sharon says maybe it was a separation. DG says Chris is such a doormat, it's annoying. But remember, DG, if Chris was female, we wouldn't say that it would be annoying or a doormat or anything, right? It's hard to look at this case through a gender free lens, but I think it's important that we do. Paula makes a good point. Why don't they produce the paternity test result? And keep in mind, he and Shanann were married when she died. So technically, right, shouldn't those results go to him? What are those results doing going to a grandparent? Shouldn't they go directly to him? The part that I think is unfortunate is that any part of that discussion has been publicly, transpiring. I don't think that Ronnie should have had whoever, the flavor of the month was, to be saying, yeah, produce it. I don't, that was just so tacky. He could certainly contact them directly or contact their lawyer or ask whoever to be a middleman to ask for the results. And yet, at the same time, I don't understand why they would have to be asking anybody but whoever did the testing, right? Paula makes a really good point. If it is what it is, then what's wrong with seeing it? Ray, that's a really good point. Ray says, how did they get authorization to visit him? That's something that has been kind of mind-boggling, hasn't it? I've never heard of any investigators going to a prison after conviction and saying, hey, how you doing? Let's have a chat. And by the way, we're going to go ahead and record it. Evidently, he didn't have an appellate lawyer automatically assigned to him post-conviction, which is odd, I think. I think it's odd, actually. What I think is odd is that he didn't hire a lawyer. Number one, he had the wherewithal to do so right out of the gate. And then I think it's very odd that he talked to anybody following the conviction. Because, just look at what we've seen playing out on YouTube. Ray says that Tammy said, oh, I love your dad, and other weird things. Yeah, and I was thinking about that, how she rubbed his arm during the interview initially. If a male detective rubbed the arm of a female suspect, right? Or let's just say that, let's say a female detective rubbed Brendan Dassey's arm. What do you think people would be saying about that? Yeah, it doesn't make sense. I agree, Ray. A lot of us don't understand. It doesn't make sense. And when things don't make sense, we talk about it. Paula says SR still wants SW to look the best wife, mother, daughter, friend. That's why they don't want people talking about their sweet Shanann. Are you referring to the people who post lies about me and my family? I'm being facetious. Right, Ray. Like, yeah, hey, how you doing? I have that in my book that at times in his police interview, he sounds like he's at a class reunion filling his mates in on how great his life and his wife really are. Yeah, Paula, I'm still kind of looking at your comment going like, what? Are you kidding me? We have witnessed 3 years of some of the most god awful, terrible, disgusting comments and videos and threats. And what is our crime? Exactly. Oh, we write true crime books? We discuss true crime cases? Really? So that means that my children and my ex-husband and his brothers and nieces and nephews and neighbors and employers, I'll get to have a phone call? Remember the video that they posted, posting my employer name and contact information, telling everybody to call and harass them? That's pretty ballsy, isn't it? Pretty ballsy. Or the people calling in the middle of the night using fake robo app, whatever, to try to traumatize me. Are you kidding me? Does anybody care about the number of people who have been absolutely traumatized by the attacks against us? Does anyone care about that? Oh my goodness. She's dead. She can't defend herself. Stop bashing her. She's dead. She can't defend herself. Stop bashing her. How the hell do you think that 70-year-old Paula can defend herself? How do you think that Paula feels when she gets threatening text messages at age 70? When we know full well that the people attacking us are choosing us, they're targeting us, admitting that they're targeting us because we're old. That's what they say. I'm not trying to call you old, Paula, but you know what I'm saying. That's what they've said about me. She'll be easy because she's old. So you have a bunch of punks who think it's perfectly acceptable to chase around a bunch of old women. And I love you all, and I'm old too. A bunch of bobs, and to attempt to frighten us. And also remember, they have stated their goal to destroy our lives, to push us to commit suicide. They have stated their goal is to push us to commit suicide. They have said, I can't believe she hasn't killed herself yet. So let's back up, okay? She's dead. She can't defend herself. Well, okay, well, then answer the question. You want to gather up a couple, 300 people and threaten our lives? And you purposely pick out older people thinking that we'll be easy targets so we can defend ourselves? Which, by the way, we can. And I think it kind of makes them angry because they've been sicking 200 and 300 people on us, and they're all scratching their heads going, wow, those bobs aren't shutting up. Ray says she feels old, but she isn't old. She's just pregnant. You'll feel a lot younger after a few hours of labor in a few weeks. You'll feel a lot lighter, too. Bob's forever. Exactly, Ray. Christy was sleeping, too. I'm sorry. I should have picked a better time. Sandy wants me to say, stop talking about the case. I can do it with a different drawl if you want. I can do Texas. I can do Mississippi. And I can do North Carolina. I don't know what that means, Sandy. Masma. Ray says, I just want to be in the background. Uh-oh, did I scare the baby? I hope I didn't scare the baby. No, Sharon. Oh, okay. Stop talking about the case. How's that? Ooh, Dash. Dash the cat jumped. Oh my gosh, we're all so weird. I mean, the hypocrisy is screaming. The hypocrisy is screaming. And we've heard it all. I deleted a comment this morning because that's what I do. Like the trash can is just, being heavily utilized lately. I saw it and I just thought, oh, you guys know I mentally flip people off, right? But I read this comment and I'm like, this is a script from 2018. It's like the same script from 2018. And if somebody is going to be so lazy that they can't even pretend to discuss the case, no, I'm just, going from memory here, but it was something along these lines. I just accidentally saw your channel. I've never seen it before. And I just want you to know that I think there's a lot of hate here. And I don't understand how you can be bashing a dead woman. And then they didn't spell her name right because they never do. I mean, if you're going to hire a writer or at least recruit one to write your crappy comments saying, she's dead, stop talking about her, she's dead, she can't defend herself, then at least know how to spell her name. Because if you're going to misspell her name, then what you're telling us is you don't really care. You're not really invested. You don't care at all. You're just hopping online to have fun poking at people. Ooh, DG says, anyone see the new thought-provoking video where Shanann pinched Cece? I haven't seen it. Crystal's here. Hey, sweetie. But they're all the same, right? You're jealous. You're just jealous. You're just jealous. You plagiarize. You plagiarize whatever you write. You're mean. Shanann was beautiful. Shanann was the perfect mother and the perfect wife. And she was highly successful. She was 35th from the top. She earned her car. She was a retired nurse. She was a stay-at-home mom. Chris is lucky that she ever gave him the time of day. Because she was successful. She was making $500,000 a year. She built her own house. Yes, and she did more than 95% of the other women out there. So you're just jealous. Of course you're just jealous. And the one that I think is the most ridiculous is when they say, Chris wouldn't even be interested in you. He wouldn't even be interested in you. And you're in love with him. Well, I'm really glad that he wouldn't be interested in me, considering he's younger than my youngest. And to me, that would just seem kind of weird to ever think that a kid would be, come on. And quite frankly, like, I wouldn't care how old that Chips lookalike, the Chip Star lookalike, it wouldn't matter to me how old he was necessarily. That wouldn't seem quite as creepy. But does anyone here think that Christopher Watts was attractive? Really? His legs were 2 feet long. Exactly, DG. Exactly. What about Bella and Cece? Not only the fact that they're babies, who was defending them when they were still alive? Who defended Bella and Cece when their mother looked right at the camera and said that she just gave them both lots of Tylenol? Oh, geez, Sharon, no way. No way. Oh my gosh. Are you one of them that thought John Boy Walton too, or no? Are you a John Boy fan? Yes, Pink Ladybug. Exactly. Short little stumpy legs. He looked, I'm sorry, like a doofus, right? He looked like a doofus. Ray's using words I don't know, but she's a mom of young babies. Is Tylenol something or other? I know how to say acetaminophen or something like that, but I don't know how to say that one. Paracetamol? I don't know. Paracetamol? Is that like acetaminophen? We like using big words. Oh no, Sharon, if you love John Boy, LOL, lots of love, then that's your problem, honey. That's your problem. You need to like take a look at the video of the first responding officer. That's a man. Christopher Watts? Not so much. Yes, short, long shorts, dork. A doofus. I'm not saying that. That's Ray saying it. And she's like ready to have a baby. So I think she's going to get even more like direct and in your face in the next few weeks. It'll be fun to watch. But that explains it, Sharon. If you were attracted to John Boy Walton, then that would explain why you would think CW, no. Yes, Crystal, you do. He's the one, he's the window well hopper. He can hop the window well, let me tell you. Paula says that coup was on fire. Or he was a hottie. That probably says that coup was a hottie. And coup means cop. Yeah, Sharon. Yeah, we've got to help you. We've got to help you. Because, I mean, that's 2 out of 2 of, are you kidding me? I'm sorry. He just, he looks and acts creepy. He does. So the thought that anyone is, I mean, I've received text messages to my phone. He wouldn't be interested in you. You're not even his type, stuff like that. It's like, what? Really? I'm twice his age and I wouldn't give him 1 second of my time. Okay, Sharon says, I'm totally in love with David Dawson at the minute. Who is David Dawson? Is he a hottie? Sandy says, MM likes window hoppers. LOL, lots of love. I have no idea who David Dawson is. Well, Sandy, about that window thing, I did notice his upper body strength because if you notice when you watch that video of him hopping in the window wells, man, he can just hop right out of the window well as if he is just like on a little spring or something. It's like he's got one of those springboards there. Like he's a stunt man with some kind of gizmo that he's just bing, hopping right up. That's a man with upper body strength and with leg strength. That was when the neighbor was going, hey, yeah, she's a diabetic. Yes, Sandy, ping. Remember how the neighbor was right out there? Hey, yeah, hey, she's a diabetic. Okay, how did he know? He was on his back porch, right? It's not like he was out in the driveway chatting away. He was on his own back porch. Hey, and boy, he was right there, man. He had the back of that place covered, didn't he? Ah, okay. Ray's giving us the rundown. I love you guys. She says Tylenol is paracetamol. And if I'm saying it wrong, I don't care. I don't know that word. I know the word acetaminophen, and some people say acetaminophen. And I know the word C-chlor for what that's worth. Random thought. That's nothing to do with Tylenol. Now we're going to have to pronounce Tylenol. Where you guys lead, I will follow. Gerard Butler is a cutie. I have no idea who that is either. Good. Sharon says I said it right. Do you like how I'm saying Tylenol? See, that's going to hurt Ray's ears to hear me say Tylenol. And she's going to go, oh, that MM. She's such a Bob, which I am. And that's what you guys love. Yes, Pink Ladybug says attractiveness needs intelligence. Exactly. Exactly. And here's the thing. I'm sure Christopher Watts would have been an attractive guy for who knows who. It was that doofus smile. That doofus, yeah, let's all pretend like we're really rich. You know? Yo, yeah, my wife's really successful. Ray says people think it's really safe, but actually it's really easy to overdose your children and yourself. Ha! Sorry, autocorrect doesn't understand the Tylenol. That's hard to say. That is a tongue twister. Christy says, or no, not Christy, Kirsty, like Kirstie Alley, says paracetamol is a painkiller in New Zealand. Paula says Benadryl too. Pink Ladybug says, oh, I love our chats, you guys. This is going to be good. Oops, I skipped it. Didn't mean to. Pink Ladybug says, lip licking is not attractive. Where I come from, eating with your mouth hanging open is not attractive. So guys try not to eat with their mouth hanging open on the first date. Sharon says, I don't think CW killed anyone, but he was a damn idiot. Ray says, arg. I spelled it even worse that time. Oh, I don't know this word either. Calpol? I don't know what that is. Calpol for kids? For pain? And temperatures. Never heard of kids given paracetamol or paracetamol. I don't know. I take my multivitamin and a little bit of vitamin D here and there too. I do think that Sharon and I are agreeing with each other. Not about the John Boy thing, not about the Christopher Watts thing, but about whether or not CW killed anyone. I don't think he killed anyone. And I didn't just, pull that out of thin air. I just don't think he killed anyone. I don't. But you know what? Even if he did, I think had he not been a doofus and had he gone to trial, I think it would have been very difficult for the prosecutor to reach the standard of proving beyond a reasonable doubt. Because in my opinion, this case is chock full of reasonable doubt. March 2nd, 2017. It's going to take drastic measures to be with the one I've fallen in love with, the one I truly belong with. If I was sitting on a jury, I might kind of wonder what that meant. Ew! Sharon says, not gorgeous, just easy on the eyes. Well, good. At least we brought you back from gorgeous. Ugh. Kirstie Alley, not Kirstie Alley, but that's what I'll call her. Kirstie Alley says, who do you think killed them? Who do you think, Kirstie? If I don't think CW killed anybody, who do you think did? Or who do you think I think did? Don't you love it when I riddle? Pink Ladybug says, Cindy was right when she told him they had nothing. What? Oh, for proof? Exactly. Exactly. Cindy asked a valid question. What have you got? What is there? What physical evidence is there? And I'm talking an actual courtroom. I'm not talking about the scumbags pulling off their crap on YouTube. You know, they've been planning that for like 3 years, right? And gee golly, I wonder who was behind all the attacks. I wonder. I'm not talking about, made for entertainment type evidence. I'm talking an actual trial. What evidence did they have? What did they have? Well, I guess the defense, depending on what the results showed, the defense may have had some scrapings from under the nails, right? Some fingernail clips, right? That would be interesting evidence to see. Wouldn't that be nice if we could see the results of those tests? And I think it's interesting that we haven't. Uh-oh. Christy needs depends. Christy, I thought your name was Kirsty. Oh, wait, that's Kirsty Ward. Okay, yeah, Christy Rowe, Kirsty Ward. I think I'll call you Kirsty too, Kirstie Alley. Maybe I'll call you Christy Alley. Paula says, SW was a nothing to be jealous of. She was a phony, a mental case, and couldn't hold a job. Who would have wanted? Paula is one of our most intelligent Bobs, and she wrote, who would have wanted her for a nurse or babysitter? I agree with you, Paula. I do. I mean, I'm surprised it's taken us 3 years to have this open conversation. Seriously. Do you remember the video when she was in on the sofa and Christopher Watts was sitting on the floor playing a board game with the girls? And she was like kind of bent because 2 little children were actually making noise, right? So she had to go outside. Sharon's now distancing herself from her affection for John Boy. Yeah, they're funny. You guys are fun. But did you see that video where she had to go outside because, evidently 2 children playing a board game with their father sitting on the floor was too much noise for her? Right? Okay, well, fast forward. Well, first, before I hop to the next thing, did you notice how Christopher Watts was sitting on the floor with the girls right by the door? Who does that? I'll bet you before that phone was turned on, it was like, no, sit over there. No, try here. No, wait, move over farther. Okay, 2 feet to the right. Okay, I'm trying to make a video. Cooperate. You're a child. It's like I have 3 children. Loser. So I just thought that was kind of interesting. And then shortly after the video started, she couldn't stand the noise, so she had to go outside. Well, then little Cece came to the slider and peeked out, and I think she made a little bit of noise, and it was like that was too much noise. Okay, so now I want to hop over to the other thing. The Nutgate thing. Cindy does believe that Cece throwing herself on the floor screaming had something to do with Shanann screaming. And that's what I think too. Remember when she called Cindy? Ronnie tells a story that she called Ronnie, but Cindy told me she called Cindy, and I believe Cindy. Remember when she called her and said, "You've been gone too long. Who's going to take care of the kids?" Pink Ladybug says, "Well, they were monsters." Yes, Sandy, even the dog running by bothered her. Okay, so what happened then? Let's just say, I'm just saying, this is a big if, okay? Let's just say that as Christopher Watts is leaving for work that morning, and he's done. He is done. He's had it. No more. He's finally manning up, okay? And he decides, instead of carting his crap all the way across the street and back and forth and whatever, he's going to be like every other man on the planet, and he's going to back his truck up into the driveway, and he's going to load up his crap and go to work. I've told you guys this before. You know what I think. I think she whipped that patch off so fast, and I think she got mad. I think she was already mad before she went to sleep, because remember, we were told in those police interviews that she came home and she confronted him. What if the girls started screaming? What if somebody was supposed to be there and they weren't? What if Christopher Watts thought that somebody was there? Melomar says, how did Shanann get her first house? Well, didn't she build it? Melomar? I thought she built it herself. I'm being a Bob. No, she wasn't like 22 years old, Melomar. Okay, when she met Christopher Watts, she said that she was 20, what was she, 26? Yes. She told him she was 26. She met him on August 10th of 2010. The house purchase was December of 2009. And her birthday's in January. So she was 25 years old plus 11 months. And how did she get her first house? Well, she got it with roughly 5% down. My hunch is she probably got it by using some sort of a settlement, or maybe the first payment, maybe, after you apply sometimes, right? And that might take a couple, 3 years. Then you might get a really fat check. And maybe for that income verification or income to debt ratio, maybe she helped her boss fill out the forms, just to provide the information for him. Paula says, I think CW called her out about her being pregnant and not his that morning also. I don't know about that. Wouldn't be surprised. But what I was told by Cindy is that he said that he remembered Shanann saying she was going to make him pay for this when he said he was divorced, he was following through with their divorce plan, and that he wouldn't see the girls again. Now, I'm just curious. Did the police know that? Melamar says, doing what? I don't know what that means. Oh, Pink Ladybug, I forgot. She made $500,000 a year. That's why she put down roughly 5%. Daisy Day says her family were contractors, remember? It sounded like she was laying the bricks herself. She built that house herself. She made it sound like that for sure in that same video that I was talking about where she was distracted by two little ones who were just having fun playing a little game. I will have you guys know that my dog is cruising around the yard looking back like, ha, ha, ha. I got out the door, ha, ha, ha. He knows how to open the door. So he keeps peeking back. We have a wall of windows, and he keeps peeking it back at me like, ha, 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 I'm outside. Usually, I hop right to one of the sliders and go, get your butt in here. But it's going to be raining, I think, tomorrow. So I think he can run around. Uh-oh, Sandy's stomach hurts. OMG. Sandy says, my stomach hurts. OMG, I'm laughing so hard right now. Why are you laughing? Oh, he is at one of the sliders. I guess I should. Hang on, I'm going to mute. I'll be right back. He's so cute. He comes in and every single time, like even just when he goes outside to go pee, every single time, if I just run up to the store or if I run outside to get the mail or whatever, every single time he and I are apart for a few minutes, I'm talking a few minutes, he jumps on me like, hey, we haven't seen each other in forever. And then I do my stop jumping on me, which is why I muted it, because he jumps on me all the time, which is kind of cute in a way. And he can jump really high, like a little pogo stick. Pew, pew. But now that the weather is much warmer, I really don't like him jumping on my legs, Yeah. Yes, Sandy, that's exactly what it is. He's affectionate, and that's what he's doing. But it's just like, stop jumping on me. Okay, jump on me once, okay? Maybe twice. I'll even give you 3 jumps. But man, he's just like, pew, 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 pew. It's like, okay, already. Yeah, how exciting. Woohoo. Now go lay down. When I say go lay down like that, he always kind of looks at me like, aw. He pulled a fast one yesterday. Oh, the little bugger. He likes to go for a car ride. I've told you guys that, right? I try to give him a car ride every day. Actually, I do give him a car ride every day. he tries for 2 or 3, but he gets 1 for sure every day. Well, the day was young. I'm trying to think what I did. I think I ran him to the post office or something. I wasn't going to take him with me because, sometimes he won't stay in his seat when I'm getting in and out of the car. And so then I stand there going, get in your seat, get in your seat, get in your seat. I'm held hostage by a Jack Russell. Okay. And yeah, I think I was going to the post office because their parking lot's real busy. So I don't take them all the time at all. Like if I'm going to the grocery store, I'm not going to take them Because when I take him to the grocery store, never fails, there's always a stranger standing at my car, peeking in, trying to get their fingers in the window to, let the dog pet him or to let the dog lick his fingers. And then I'm sitting there thinking, he's going to bite you, you moron. And then what happens if he bites someone? Well, who's the bad guy, right? Me. Yeah, because, people can't be expected to think maybe they shouldn't stick their fingers in other people's cars when there's a dog in there trying to act like they're going to lick their fingers, but they really want to bite them. So he pulled a fast one. He took off. He can always tell. He can tell by what outfits, right, that mommy's wearing. That little booger, he took off, and he goes far, because especially when the deer are in the yard every morning. So he took off, and I just thought, you know what? I'm not going to do it. I'm going to practice tough love, because Jack Russells need that, by the way. If you're not familiar with Jack Russells, you have to have tough love. So I thought, I'm just not going to take the bait. I'm going to run my errand, and he can watch mommy drive down that road. Okay? It was hard to do, because I'm not a mean person. And you know why he did it? Because what he does is he'll take off a ways, and then I go and I open my car door. He gets in, sits on my lap, not in his seat. He gets his way, right? That's how he does it. If I'm not taking him for a ride fast enough, then he figures out a way to make it happen. Well, yesterday was different, because I thought, he's training me. I'm not training him. This is not okay. We got to get this reversed. So I went ahead and ran my errand, knowing I'd be coming right back, but still at the same time, I was kind of like, ooh, man, I hope those big trucks and whatever, because people fly down the road, right? I come back, sure enough, bing, here he comes. He's only 1-2 doors down. Comes flying when he saw me coming up the road. And I thought, okay, good, he's alive. He didn't get run over by a big pickup truck. That's a good thing. And so right away, I'm ready to open the door. And I thought, ooh, this isn't good, because he's training me, right? So I went really, really slow, and then he ran alongside the car, and he actually enjoyed it. He actually enjoyed it. At first, I thought this is kind of like sadistic, I think, a little bit. He loved it. He was running circles around me, having a good time. I thought, man, this is great, because he's getting really good exercise. I'm sitting on my butt, right? This is great. Exercising the dog without exercising. It was super. Made it up all the way up to the house. He was so happy. Oh my goodness, he was so happy. The bad part, of course, is that he tried to pull it again today. I don't know, maybe that's how I should start walking him, is just hop in the car and go, come on, run alongside, don't get run over, no suicide by tire. Christy says, I'm 16 minutes behind. Loving this topic. What, the John Boy stuff, or how dorky Christopher Watts was? I don't know where you're at in the video. Sandy says that her dog is the boss of her house. I know it. And isn't it kind of weird? I don't know, we're sounding like old women, I think, now. When I talk about my dog, I sound very old. But like, when it's time for him to have his food, because one thing I've learned about him is you don't want to keep a lot of food in his bowl, because he's kind of like, he's a Jack Russell, right? They're kind of nervous, I guess. I don't know. So he gets kind of like, oh, there's food. I should eat it. So you pretty much, you give him the right amount, and you give it to him just once a day. You know what I mean? You got to kind of like provide a little bit of structure where Jack Russells have none, inherently anyway. But when he knows it's like coming up on time for me to fill his little bowl, he gives me a look. Like, kind of like his one ear and his eye, he kind of has that look on his face. And this sounds really weird, but when he gives me that look of, hey, when are you going to put food in my bowl? It's like, I know exactly what he's saying. And then I, say, okay, you need food in your bowl. And he gives me kind of a different look going, yeah. Same with water. I can tell when he's thirsty. I know what he's doing with that look. You know what I'm saying? Daisy Day says, my dogs rule the roost. I know it. I know it. I love cats. I'm a cat lover, but I'm a dog lover more than a cat lover. Well, I'm a cat lover too. You can't really compare the two because they're such different animals, such different personalities. Sharon says, my cat waits for me at the fridge. Have you guys noticed when you get something out of the refrigerator, like your animal knows from the other room what it is? My dog has certain foods that he really, really likes. And if I wasn't being attacked by a bunch of scumbag attackers for the last 3 years, I would tell you exactly what foods my dog likes. But I don't do that since one of the scumbag attackers was actually physically parked alongside my road. I don't want anybody to be trying to feed my dog anything, if you know what I'm saying. But it's interesting when I go to the fridge, if I happen to pick out one of the things that my dog really loves, he can be in the other room. He can be on the other floor. And it's like, bing, like he knows before I even touch it. If I'm opening the refrigerator door to get one of his favorite things, with no intention of sharing with him, okay, at the moment, he knows. It's like maybe he can tell by my footsteps or something. Maybe he's like, oh, yeah, she's going to go get a piece of cheese. I can tell. And I want some of that. That's got to be it. I probably have different footsteps for different foods. Maybe, I don't know. Ice cream, you know. Probably when I'm just walking to the fridge to get the egg carton out, I probably just kind of go walk, walk, walk. But when I'm on my way for ice cream, I'm probably going bing, 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 bing. And he's probably like, oh, that sounds like an ice cream walk. Samantha's dog just had 5 babies last night. Oh my goodness. You know what? My first dog as an adult, my first dog as a child was named Ringo after Ringo Starr. My first dog as an adult was named Samantha. I kid you not, Samantha. We called her Sammy. Samantha or Sammy. And Samantha had a brother. We had the brother and sister. And Samantha's brother was named Spotty. And Spotty did not have a spot. I have no idea. I think one of the kids picked the name, actually. I think that's how Spotty got his name. I think one of the kids named him Spot. And he didn't have a spot on him. Dash is from a cat sanctuary. How's that working for you? Does she have a nice personality, or is she kind of like damaged, traumatized? Aw. Samantha has 5 little babies to cuddle. Puppies are so fun. Did you guys know that my dog Samantha had a litter of puppies while I was at the hospital delivering my youngest? Did you know that? I don't know if I told you guys that story yet. She was still pregnant when I was getting into my husband's big pickup truck because she was right there to say, where are you going, Mom? So she was still pregnant at that moment, and we talked about it and thought, oh man, she looks like she's about ready to have these babies. And within hours, she had her litter of pups. probably within just a few hours of when I had my youngest, when I delivered. Interrupter, we use initials, and I have no idea how to like modify a message or anything, but if you can modify, that'd be great. And I know I've seen it a couple times already, and I didn't say it because I was busy blabbing about my Jack Russell. But you guys remember to use initials. Dash was abandoned as a kitten on the side of the road. Our favorite cat was abandoned. We lived in a really nice area where the people who I guess had too many kittens figured that the kittens would all find nice homes. You guys are going to hate me if I tell you this story, but I'll tell you anyway. Don't hate me. I actually got a cat one time from, what's it called, a PetSmart. They had like an adoption day, something or other. And I thought, oh, because like when you're in the PetSmart and you see the cute little animals, you can't help it, right? So sure enough, I took one. Oh, she was just a little darling, right? She was a sweetie. I'm not sure. I think she might have had a sedative or something because, man, my next door neighbor has a pond, right, with like really expensive fish. These aren't like fish that are naturally there. These are fish that they like to spend way too much money on. So I guess they can sit at the side of the pond and watch the fish. Well, this cat, I think she figured she died and went to heaven when she got to hop in my car because that pond was her goal in life. And then one time, oh my goodness, this one lady had some kind of bird. I don't know what kind of bird it was, but she was proud of her bird and she used to have it on her shoulder. It was one of those squawkers. I'm not a bird person. And when she was out, a bunch of us were out talking. She was out there just like she was crying because evidently she couldn't find her bird. And no kidding, like 3 of the neighbors looked at me because we all knew. We all knew I had the killer cat. I think it's odd that she was so passive and sweet and just such a little baby in the store. And then, watch out, that girl was on fire. That's the other thing. I was told she was an inside cat. Oh, yeah, she was an inside cat. BS. BS. If she was taller, she would have turned that doorknob herself. Ooh, it's her second litter. Woo! So no sleep for you because you like to watch and make sure that everything's okay? I think that's cute. I don't know. I read your comment, Samantha, and I'm like, why didn't you sleep? Like, what? I don't know. Were you her coach? Were you her birthing mentor? I think is what they call them sometimes now. Exactly, Sandy. They probably slipped the little cat a little bit of Benadryl and Tylenol and said, live one, aisle 3, act like you're passive. We're going to tell her you're an indoor cat. Samantha says they didn't ask my permission for this. Interrupter says, what's the scoop about CW's grandma needing stitches? Oh, Interrupter. I'm getting so many comments, couple of emails wanting that link to that video about Christopher Watts' grandmother. So tell me, what are they saying? Because I don't listen to the other stuff. What's the word on the street? What did Miss Mensa say now? Oh, okay. Sleepless nights with the baby. Okay, that's good. I was kind of worried that maybe he sat up all night staring at the dog. I mean, I would say throw a heat lamp in there, make sure there's food and water, and go to sleep. All right. Yes, send me a picture. And if I get techno geeky, maybe I'll figure out how to put it up on the thingy. I probably won't, but I'll enjoy seeing it. New puppies are wonderful. And your babies are going to love the puppies. Mrs. J-Dub says, tell us more about CMMM. Well, I haven't said anything about CM. And I'll tell you why. I think that people like Shannon's first husband, or I don't know, I'll call him her previous husband. I think people like him and people like, let me think of another example. Like, I don't know. I'll just use him as the example. Oh, NK. NK is a good example. I think they're showing that they have an IQ that is workable, right? And I feel the same way about CM. I think that when people are directly connected to a high profile true crime case that is on the public stage with gazillions of issues of public concern, giving us the full right, full freedom, and I think the full duty to discuss these cases, right? You guys know how I feel about that. I think that when somebody like CM or the first or the previous or whatever husband or NK do not engage, as all three of those people haven't, then I think we owe it to them. I think just, you know, it is my opinion that we owe it to them to not engage them. I just do. But I can still discuss the issues by saying something along the lines, I'll give you a comparison. Instead of saying, well, gee, I wonder if that first husband, you know, whatever, fill in the blank. Instead of saying that, I prefer to say, I understand that, we've been told that Shanann stopped going home at night, and discussing that part of the dynamic without going into any details of another person who, through no fault of their own, has found themselves associated with a high profile case that's on the public stage. See what I'm saying? Do I think that Christopher Watts questioned paternity? Oh, yes, I do. And again, I said it earlier, I don't think that the question of paternity should have been some kind of a challenge by some dweeb acting like they were all that. I thought that was disgusting when they said, tell us by whatever. If you don't tell us, then, no. I thought that was absolutely disgusting to do that. But I don't fault Ronnie and Cindy for questioning paternity. And I don't think Ronnie and Cindy all of a sudden said, you know what, let's go ahead and question paternity. I think what has happened is they have a son who has questioned paternity. So of course they're going to. Samantha says, I don't think he was the dad, maybe even question CC paternity. Well, I think he was definitely Cece's father in every way that matters, right? During her lifetime. But, I'm with you. Here's the thing. If we didn't see posts like March 2nd at 9:57 a.m. on a Thursday morning in 2017, hey, Miss CD, how's the pepper spray? Have you had to use it yet? Anyone trying to lock lips with you without permission? If we hadn't seen comments posted saying that I've fallen in love with another man, or I've fallen in love, I'm scared, I've fallen in love. It's going to take drastic measures for me to be with the one that I truly belong with. If we hadn't seen that post, I guess maybe we wouldn't be wondering, right? Who was calling Bella and Cece annoying? Interrupter said, did anyone see what's off topic on Reddit? They were calling Bella and Cece annoying. What? No way. Sharon says, it's that post that did it for me. Ooh. Okay. Okay, ladies, line up. Everyone, cop a squat because Miss CD's got the tea. Miss CD says, I've had 2 wonderful dates with a really nice man. I actually graduated high school with him. Oh, Miss CD, tell us more. Is that why we haven't seen you? Actually, I don't think we've been here either as much, huh? Tell us more. How tall is he? Does he have cavities? What kind of car does he drive? Have you talked about his equity? You never want to date a guy with less equity than you have, okay? Okay, let's see. Miss CD says, oh, I just love it that we're living vicariously through Miss CD. Miss CD says he saw my other dare was awful. Yep, Miss CD's back. And asked me out. Aw, how did he see that your other dare was awful? I don't understand. Did you post it all over? Oh, honey, he's loaded. Oh, good job, Miss CD. Good job. I bet you let him lock lips without complaining. I'm just being silly, you guys. Yes, Paula, good questions. Does he drink? Does he smoke? Does he have kids? Sharon says, I tell you, Miss Mensa, we will be the channel to stream a wedding. Miss CD is our bride, I'm telling you. Even though she doesn't think so. She's got her cats. She's fine. She has pepper spray and her cat. She is an independent woman. However, look at that. I think I'll leave that one up, Miss CD. Oh, honey, he's loaded. uh, you guys know I'm just frogging around, right? Ooh, Interrupter says, how long are his tentacles? I'm not sure what she means by that. Hey, busy mom. Samantha has good advice. Friends first. I was friends with my partner first. Okay, Miss CD says, I graduated high school with him, 3 daughters. Ooh, one's going to Yale Law School. Ooh, that'll be fun. But 3 daughters? Ooh. How's the ex-wife? Give us the stats. No smoking, no drinking. Good. Although if he saw details of your first dare with that other guy, he's going to know the script, right? Sharon says, after a few more dates, Miss CD, you need to tell him about us. Mrs. J-Dub says, it sounds too good to be true. Miss CD says, yes, we have talked and talked. Ex-wife is a judge. Hokey Pete. What, is he a lawyer? He must be a lawyer. I'm sitting here staring at the screen waiting for Miss CD to answer. I told him I love crime stuff. Ooh. He probably gets a grin out of you. Samantha says, we will all vet him for you. Don't piss the ex off, LOL. Lots of love. I bet you he's a lawyer. Oh, he's a pharmaceutical sales rep. Oh, and owns a business on the side. Ooh. Paula says, OMG, a judge. Interrupter says, men don't like when they're women there. THAYRE. Not even with an apostrophe. Oh my God. Women listen to true crime. You know what I call it, Interrupter? I call it trashy true crime. Hey, Bling. Bling says, popping in to say hi. Hey, Bling, Miss CD went on a really good couple of dates with a pharmaceutical sales rep, and he owns his own business on the side, and his ex-wife is a judge. He has 3 daughters, though. I don't know. 1 daughter, 2 daughters, maybe. But, 3 daughters? I mean, you know what I'm saying. Miss CD says, and super nice. Opens the door for a woman. Very, very kind. I'm really excited. Aw. Oh, man, I'm so glad that you didn't waste one more minute with Mr. Locklips, you know? I should have read your comment differently. I should have read it like this. I'm so excited! Like that. Miss CD doesn't give you permission to leave us. Yes, Sandy's right, Miss CD. We're all sensing a little bit of a fear of abandonment here, listening to you. Interrupter wants to know if he love bombed you. Okay, that's better then. That's better. Twins and 1 other daughter. Okay, good. I bet they're spoiled rotten, though. Samantha says, I tell my mister, don't puss me off. 'Cause you know, N.O., I'll never get caught. LOL. Lots of love. I'm not sure, Interrupter, if she would know at this stage of the game if she was love bombed, because I think that's the art of love bombing, is that the love bombee doesn't have a clue. Miss CD says, I've been busy, but I always watch the replays. Paula says, well, my last hubby raised 4 of my kids. He was a wonderful man. Aw, 30 years with him. Aw, Paula. And I'm just kind of being mouthy about the whole daughters thing. It's just like when she said 3 daughters, I was like, oh, watch out. You know, sometimes the whole stepmom daughter thing, you know what I'm saying? And it, 3 of them, but they're twins and 1 other, so that's a little bit different. I bet you the twins are hell on wheels. Miss CD says, no, we have spent our dates just talking, taking it very slow. We don't even text a lot. Good. I always let him text first. Good. Very good. Sandy says he'd better sleep with 1 eye open. LOL, lots of love. I am so glad that you didn't stay connected to Mr. 6 beers in 2 hours. Miss CD says the twins are going to college this fall. Nice. Very nice. But it doesn't matter how old they get, they can still wrap their daddy around their little finger, which is fine. That's what daughters are for. That's what daddies are for. But, the whole stepmom routine, and not even stepmom, because they're adults. So you wouldn't even really be a stepmom at this point. Miss CD says, I will not settle, honey. Yeah, we know that. We know that. We got to go on that first date with you, Miss CD. Sandy says, this is so exciting. But I think what she's really saying is, this is so exciting. I just went to the post office. I left 2 kids sleeping. And I'm not even realizing that I shouldn't say that on social media. But they were taking a nap, so I thought, well, I'll just run to the post office and grab my products because my stash in the basement needs more. Miss CD says, oh, yes, their daddy is crazy about them. Uh-oh. Cooks for them. Cooks for the nights they are with him. Sandy says, my husband's daughter, NK's glued to him and always tries to come between us, even after 20 years. Wait a minute. My husband's daughter, NK's glued. NK's glued. Are you NK's stepmother? Is that what you're telling us? You heard it here first, guys, on the Miss Mensa channel. Oh, Miss CD's changing the subject. Oh, to change the subject. Did you? So, oh, we do initials here, Lovey. Outburst on her. Was it the one by the memorial? Sandy says fat fingers. Interrupter says Sandy. NK. Sandy says is glued. Miss CD says I knew the cooking show would end up being about SW. Do you like that when I do that? One of our faithful followers here, she's actually like in charge of the channel, I would say. She sent me the information and I took a peek. And you know what? I just love, because I don't listen to any of this stuff, okay? I just don't. Anytime I try, if people say, you've got to watch this, and then I try to watch it, it's like, ugh. No, I don't listen to any of this crap. I'm sorry, I don't. I don't want to hear what other people think. I don't want to hear what they say. I just don't. Maybe 2 years ago, I was interested in other people's opinions, but I have found that there are so few channels. Like thought-provoking videos is a good one. I like to watch her videos, and I'll just leave it at that. You know what I'm saying? So when I got the email, I'm like, oh, okay. But what I did and what I do when people want me to watch something is if you don't give me the exact timestamp, I'm not going to sit there and hit play and wait for it. There's no way. So what I do, and I'm really lazy about this, I'm telling you, or ADD or something, because if I can't find it in the first 3 seconds, I'm out. Count me out. I don't care. Just tell me what you want to tell me, and I'll go, oh, whatever. But I clicked on it, and boom, I just kind of fly with that little thingy at the bottom. Boom, exactly what the email was saying. I'm like, oh, I love it when that happens, because then I don't have to listen to anything else. Yeah, I don't think she was talking about us. The part that I listened to, I think is exactly what you guys are talking about. Maybe there was more that I didn't listen to. But the part that I heard, she was complaining about people who are trying to channel, I think, wasn't she? I think she said it, that the people who are channeling or something, or maybe I misunderstood. I don't know. But it sounds like she was complaining about people who are pretending like they can talk to her and stuff. I don't know. Am I wrong? I might be wrong. Samantha says, I just can't listen to BS. Oh, here we go. Miss CD listened. She said any channel who continues to discuss her daughter in a negative light. I thought it was just people who were channeling. You know what? I can see how I mistook that then, because you know how all these people are always like doing their little seances and stuff, or actually they have like phone apps and they charge $50 to tell you what Christopher Watt's wife is thinking. I thought she was talking about them, but I bet you she was talking about channels. So let me read that again. She said, any channel who continues to discuss her daughter in a negative light. Well, what's she going to do? I don't know. Maybe O.J. Simpson could give her some advice, or Casey Anthony or something. I don't know. Sharon, what time is your alarm set? Like for another 3 hours? Not even that. Girl, you better get some sleep. If you want, leave the thing on, and then if we're still talking in a few hours, then I'll scream really loud for you to wake up. Miss CD says she's going to shut us down? Why? Okay, so I misunderstood the whole thing because I didn't really listen to it, but I listened to the little smidgen, and I clearly heard her say the channeling, I think. So I thought it was these people using their little telephone apps to make some quick money. Oh, here we go. Okay, you guys did listen to it. Okay, let's see. Let me learn. Let me read and learn. Paula says, she said that also, but said all channels who attacked SW are getting in big trouble with lawyers. For what? And I guess that's based on a couple of different premises here, because is she saying then that she is the person who decides what somebody's opinion about the case, whether or not it's good or bad? Is that it? Oh, Christy says we were all talking about dogs. Oh, Miss CD, no, no. You can just tell me. Because I'll tell you, quite frankly, the little smidgen I listened to was more than I needed to hear. Well, the little smidgen I listened to, and I can't remember, let me see. I might be able to tell you exactly where it was at. Yeah, here it is. Okay. I don't know if I can tell you, but let me look. I just found the little thingy. Hold on. So keep that in mind. Take 20,000, I'm not sure, but that's just what I raised, not including what the whole world. Oh. Okay. Can you guys hear what I just played or no? Did you guys hear what I just played? This is what I just heard. I'm on a warpath. If you have my name, my husband's name, my son's name on your wall, I'll strike you down. I don't care if I have to get a lawyer. Is that the part you guys are talking about, or was there something in another place in the thingy? Because I'm not listening to it again. And that little smidgen is all I need to hear. Okay, let's start back at square one. I got the email. I clicked on that video. I randomly hit the thingy, and that's what I landed on, was what I was just talking about, that little spot. In that little spot, I thought she said that she wasn't liking the people who were channeling. Okay, so my little picking brain went to the people who are using their little telephone apps. You know, they sit in their cars in a parking lot, and they usually have like a lot of makeup on, and their hair's kind of bigger than normal, and they all have that forehead. That, you know what I'm saying, right? And the same nails, and then they sit there and they say, "Oh," you know, with that kind of, and then I think it's like $50 for you to get a reading or something. That's what I thought she was talking about. So I totally missed I guess I totally missed the gist of it all. So you guys are understanding it that it's anybody at all, and then that little piece I just played, she just said if you have her name, her um, son's name, or husband's name, whatever. Well, I'm with her. I think people shouldn't put people's names right up on a wall. Paula says she knows we see the real SW and it paints a different picture than what she wants people to say about SW. She said anyone attacking her daughter or family, she is coming for them. And that was right before the part 2, like the kind of a tough sound to it, right? Like, okay, coming at people for what? We should try to interview O.J. Simpson. Wouldn't that be an interesting interview? Hey, O.J., what does it feel like to have, 99% of the people on the planet calling you a murderer? How do you feel about that? Do you feel that you can defend yourself? How do you feel when your family is discussed on a daily basis? Or we could talk to Teresa Halbach's brother. Maybe we should interview Teresa Halbach's brother and say, how does that make you feel to have 100,000 people, 100,000 people signing a petition saying that your sister's killer, your sister's murderer, is innocent? Or maybe we could interview, what's her name? Kaylee or Casey? Kaylee's the daughter, right? Casey's the mom. Maybe we could interview Casey Anthony and say, how does it feel to have the entire world calling you the worst mother on the planet, the murderer, blah, blah, blah? And then, what I would ask OJ and what I would ask Teresa Halbach's brother and what I would ask Casey Anthony, I would say, well, why didn't you put a stop to it? Paula says you can only say nice things about SW and the girls. Well, I think we are the channel that does say nice things about Bella and Cece. I think we are the channel that says nice things about Bella and Cece. She said, otherwise she is coming for you, ND. Coming for what? And who determines what's nice and what's not nice? Seriously. If I say that, in my opinion, Christopher Watt's wife was mentally ill, is that nice or not nice? Because if you think that's not nice, then I think you're trying to stigmatize mental illness. I think I happen to care more about the safety of children who deserve for their parents to get the help that they need, correct, Amunda? And I also care about the fact that 2 little girls were given Benadryl and Tylenol every night at 6:30 sharp. They lined up like 2 little birdies when they saw Shanann coming with a syringe. Is that nice? Is that not nice? Miss CD makes a very good point. They've been getting lawyers for 3 years. They already have lawyers, don't they? They've already done a couple of press conferences, right? She said she's getting a lawyer. I thought they already had a whole bunch of lawyers. Well, I'll just go ahead and opine here. I'll go ahead and opine. Because I told you earlier in this video that the scumbag attackers posted a video giving my employer information and instructing their thousands of viewers to contact the judiciary where I worked and to harass them and to defame me and slander me and obviously to intentionally inflict emotional distress, and obviously to harass me. And guess what? Guess what the number one comment was in that comment thread? A video created for the sole purpose of harassing me, harming me, intimidating me, traumatizing me, harassing the judiciary, harassing my family, promising that they weren't going to quit until they destroyed my life. And guess who posted the first comment? Or actually, when he posted his comment early on, the scumbag channel creator pinned it to the top, saying things like, "Thank you. Get the old hags." The same person who posts lies about me on his channel. So here's the thing about hiring lawyers. You can't have it both ways. Hiring a lawyer is not a one-way street. Hiring a lawyer for what? Because here's the difference. When I write books on true crime cases, that doesn't give anybody the right to discuss me, my personal life, my work at all. Writers, just like every other profession, engineers, astronauts, whatever, are not open game. We're not on the public stage simply by having a YouTube channel. We're not on the public stage simply by writing a book. However, the case of Christopher Watts is on the public stage. I have endured 3 years of absolute abuse, harassment, attacks, threats, and I'm supposed to not be allowed to talk about a true crime case that's on the public stage? Really? I don't think that's how it works. And thankfully so. But I do think that if somebody is concerned about having names up on boards, they should certainly be concerned about what names they're putting up on boards and about what channels they're applauding. Because when they have a channel creator who they applaud routinely and who they claim evidently is their spokesperson who is threatening me, I don't know, maybe they should get a lawyer and ask their lawyer about that. Maybe they should ask their lawyer about that. Well, here's the thing. Do you guys remember the 1-year anniversary routine? People stopped talking about this case. People had stopped, for all intents and purposes, people had stopped talking about this case, right? I mean, I see which cases people are talking about. I see which ones people care about talking about. And when they did that 1-year, I don't even want to call it a news conference, end of the driveway, read the speech thing, interest in this case had already died down. And I had already removed all videos on this case. And within minutes of the end of the driveway speech, the first death threats started up again. The Netflix movie. Good point, Paula. The Netflix movie. Interest in the case was dying down again. And then all of a sudden Netflix came out with that whole, Family Next Door routine. And I'm sorry, do you guys really think that Christopher Watts and Shanann Watts were like the family next door? Because if you think that, I think you should move. I think you should live in a neighborhood where people are really a lot more genuine, authentic, right? Christy's laughing about MM doing the spirit box, ladies. MM doing the spirit. I don't get what you mean. You mean because of the way I misunderstood the whole channeling thing? That's what I thought she was talking. I thought she was talking to the people sitting in their cars. I don't know. The cool thing about discussing true crime cases is we have the right to discuss true crime cases. And we have the right to have whatever opinion on this case that we have. There is no law that says that we have to believe that Christopher Watts annihilated his family. Because if there is a law like that, then that means that everyone better be real quiet about thinking Brendan Dassey's innocent. They better be real quiet about thinking Stephen Avery's innocent. What about Darla Routier? A lot of people think Darla Routier's innocent, and they have for how many years? Oh my goodness, let's see. 96, 2006, there's 10. 2016, there's 20. 25 years. We're coming up on another couple weeks. We're coming up on the 25-year, I don't want to say anniversary, but 25 years ago in a couple of weeks, poor little Devin and Damon Routier were murdered in what should have been the safety of their own home. And guess what? People are talking about that case every single day. Every single day, 25 years later. And some people think Darlie did it. And some people think she's innocent. So are we supposed to not talk about Darlie Routier's case? Because I'm telling you something, if she is innocent, which I don't think she is, I think she's guilty of sin, but if she is innocent, and we live in a country that no longer allows us to discuss true crime cases, then bye-bye, Darlie. Is that what we're expecting here? Can we say bad things about Darlie Routier? Yeah, exactly, Interrupter. Can we discuss the fact that she was on diet pills and wonder about what impact that may have had? Paula says Darlie killed her boys. I agree with you, Paula. Paula says now all these channels are bashing each other. I'm so sick of it. That's what they do. If I had more time in my schedule, I would do more lives so you guys would have a place to talk about the case. Because I know I cannot listen to the crap. I just can't. I mean, I have zero interest in I would rather sit here and talk about Samantha's new puppies. Seriously, I would much rather hear all about whether or not our favorite pregnant person right now has fat fingers. Seriously. To me, hearing about Miss CD's lover boy, I mean, I'm telling you, to me, that is actually fun, interesting. All that other crap, ugh, I can't stand even hearing any of their voices. Ugh. Oh, good. Christy's caught up. That's good. Donut worry. Gotta go, master. LOL, lots of love. I think donut worry is calling us the B word. I betcha. Oh, I get it because of the Bob's thing. So, like, I'm the Master Bob. That's funny. Darlie's husband? You think so, don't it worry? I know they, according to the coworker, best friend, maid of honor lady, they took the entire afternoon off work, according to her. And when she went to the house to pick up her mother, who was there doing Darlie's laundry, which is a hint of something, I'm not exactly sure what, they still weren't home. They didn't get home on time. And then she hung around for about a half an hour, and then she and her mother hopped in the car. And as they were pulling out of the neighborhood, the hubby and the sis were pulling in with big smiles on their faces, and they waved big, without a clue that afternoon, when Darlie found out that her husband had left the shop early and hadn't returned with her sister, that she started sharpening her knives in the kitchen, and she started slamming the cupboard doors, and she started stomping her feet around. She was mad. Samantha says, I used to listen just to see what was being said, but I won't give the attackers money or a platform, so no more. And me too, Miss Mensa. Are you a Master Bob? Do not worry says, I agree, interrupter. Who texts their friends? Oh, please. Or that she was going to go, you know what, to relieve some stress. Samantha, do we get to name the puppies? Or will the babies take care of that? Probably. Have you named any yet? Maybe we can give you ideas. Lilibet says, diet pills, Jeffrey McDonald, Thrive, UGG. You know, I'm all for a kinder and friendlier YouTube experience, right? But I just have kind of a little bit of a, are you kidding me? If what you guys are telling me, I think I got it wrong in the little tidbit that I listened to. If what you're telling me, I guess, is if somebody doesn't like our opinion on the case, then we're going to, like, you know, be in big trouble. I would think the place to begin would be to maybe not pick random strangers who write books on true crime cases and post lies about them on the internet. I'm just saying. Ah, Samantha. Oh, I come up with dorky names, though. You might not be so happy. I like how you spell honored. I love how you guys spell. You know I'm a word freak, right? So I love the way you spell. You could name one Kit, K-I-T, and the other one Cadoodle. Not Cadoodle, Caboodle. Kit and Caboodle. That'd be cute. I said Cadoodle because that's a different thing for the little makeup thing. Huh? See, I told you I come up with really dorky ideas. But they're kind of a nice dorky thing. Kit, it is. And Caboodle. Oh my goodness. Pick the runt. I think you should pick the runt for Kit if you haven't named the runt. Oh, Kibbles and Bits is cute too, Miss CD. One is called Tiny. Oh, is that the runt? I like the name Tiny. Do you have a Tim? Are you going to name one Tim? Or Tulip? Maybe Tulip and Tim. The runt is Tiny. Aw. You know, I told you about my dog Samantha. Samantha had her litter when I had my youngest. And the runt of Samantha's litter, we named her two names, but we pretty much called her Sweetie. That was one of her names. And on her birthday, we used to sit her up, put a little hat on her sometimes. I'll never forget when we took her up to the cabin after she died. Oh my gosh. You know what? If I was ever an actress, you know how they say, like, think of something sad if you got to, like, give a speech that you got to get kind of real serious and stuff? Well, all I would ever have to do, if like I was supposed to have, like, kind of sounding like my voice was breaking or something, all I have to do is tell you the story about taking Sweetie up to the cabin, because that was years ago. Years ago. That was many years ago. It was more years ago than how old she was. That's how many years ago. And man, I can still have tears over it. It's really weird. Like, you never, ever get over it. You know what I'm saying? Tiny, Kit, Caboodle, Tim, and Kibbles. I think for Kibbles, you need a bit. See if the dog's done yet. Maybe there's more in there. Are you sure she's only going to have 5? uh, uh. Little Star says, OMG, I haven't thought about a kitten caboodles in 25 years. What? You had one back in the day? You don't still have it? I have 2 of them. Paula says, Little Star, me too. Those were the in thing. LOL, lots of love. Samantha says, can't wait to tell the mister. I bet you he probably has better names. Seriously, stay open-minded. Stay open-minded. And we're okay with it. It's just like Miss CD, okay? Like, if Miss CD decided to go on another date with that whack job, it's okay. She can tell us, all right? If you decide cuter names, better names, maybe make those their middle names or something. We're good with that. We're good with that. We want your puppies to have the best names possible. No, don't lock the names down. Stay open-minded. Oh, no, he doesn't get to say, they my babies. Samantha, this is the case discussion where we're teaching you that your husband does have a say. Oh no, we're creating a monster. You should maybe give it like a 2 or 3 days of watching them kind of, you know, see if their little personalities give you some ideas, and then just ship the kitten caboodle stuff to the middle. Oh, that's a good idea. 101 Dalmatian puppy names. He named the child? Oh, okay. So the puppies are yours. Well, they're obviously up your total alley as far as the focus, the focal point, because you didn't get any sleep last night because of it. And now I'm sitting here feeling guilty because, well, for Samantha, I actually was on my way to the hospital to have my own baby, but trying to think, because Samantha had more than one litter. We did bring her inside because Sam was an outdoor dog. Sammy and Spotty were both outdoor dogs. We did bring her inside when she was preggo. They were really good dogs. Oh my goodness. We had the coolest fenced in part for them. Sammy was more like a German Shepherd, smaller, thinner, Spotty was like a bull. He was like huge, like a lab something, I don't know what. And they were brother and sister, no kidding. And we had no clue how the dogs were getting out because the fence was like taller than we were, like a lot taller, I think. I know they were really tall. Probably as tall as me, I don't know. But the fencing was very tall, very sturdy, right? Ooh, Skid and Mark, don't worry. That's a good one. And so we're like, how did the dogs get out? We don't get that, right? Until one day we were looking out back and we're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Spotty would literally stand up, like on his hind legs, and put his paws on the top of the fence. Sam would jump over, and then he would jump over. Like they made it look like it was, hopscotch or something. Aw, Lilibet remembers. That was our 1968 protest. And Walter Cronkite said, the next thing you know, nursery school students will be protesting for more milk and cookies. Good night, America. Donut Worry says Shannon had thunder thighs. I think she had something more than that going on. According to Cindy, I'm not trying to throw Cindy under the bus or anything, but Cindy did tell me that her daughter-in-law did struggle with her weight. And I'm not trying to fat shame anybody, that's for damn sure. But I do think it's interesting that little details like that are absolutely lied about. They're lied about. Why? How is that honoring her memory if we're going to pretend that she didn't have a super big butt? And so what if she had a super big butt? It's her butt. No big deal. But to lie about it is saying that she wasn't good enough, that she was less than. Remember how she used to talk about not wanting Bella and Cece to ever feel less than? I think she felt less than. And if you look at how people are lying about how perfect she was, then maybe that's part of how she was feeling less than. You know what I'm saying? So what if she had a big butt? Good for her. Good for her. I just wish in her lifetime that she wouldn't have felt ashamed of her big butt. And I wish in her death that people would not be shaming her for her big butt. And let me tell you something. The channel that's sitting here saying, yeah, she had a big butt, is not the channel that's shaming her for having a big butt. We're saying, yeah, so what? She had a big butt. It's the channel that's saying she didn't have a big butt and she was a nurse. They're the ones. They're the ones who are not saying nice things about Shannon. Because if you got to lie, if you got to lie and lie and lie some more, what about the real her? Where does that leave her? You know, this whole idea that she was a nurse, she wasn't a nurse. So how does that honor her to be telling people she was a nurse? Samantha says, I think she was over 40. I do too. I didn't at first. I know a lot of people were saying it, and I was like, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. But I think so too. I think that whole thing of her lying about her age when she met Cindy Watts, I think, my opinion, that she was lying about her age when she met Cindy Watts. Interrupter says she was so corny on those live videos. Dancing to Footloose, CW was embarrassed. Well, I don't think she had weight problems. I think she just had a big butt. Yeah, I think she was a big butt girl. And that's the whole thing about her comments that she posted about not wanting Bella and Cece to ever feel less than. That comes from a place of authenticity, I think. I think she felt less than. You guys know that the night before the nut meltdown, she said to Cindy Watts, Does that mean you love me? And Cindy said, of course I do. Of course I love you. Does that mean you love me? Samantha says, childbearing hips, as we say in the UK. That's the other part about the people attacking us. They call us psycho, they call us fat, they call us, every name in the book, okay? And they tell us that Shanann was perfect. Shanann was beautiful. Shanann was this, Shanann was that. Well, they're calling us ugly and stupid and all these things, right? Anyone else see the irony with that? Well, I think she actually lost a lot of the butt. I do, like in the last couple of years. But you're right, Interrupter. I think she was logging a lot of time on Facebook. Miss CD said, I think SW was very insecure. I think, just my opinion, I think she was dealing with what her father-in-law said he thought she had. And I think she was having difficulty with her sense of herself, her identity, her self-confidence, things like that. I think it was difficult for her. This is the discussion, in my opinion, that honors her memory, is to be able to honestly see what she was struggling with. Because I think if we knew what she was actually struggling with, I think each and every one of us would be like, oh my gosh. And I don't think she was struggling with lupus. I don't think she was struggling with fibromyalgia. I don't think she was struggling with gluten intolerance or celiac disease or Sjogren's or high-risk pregnancies or fertility issues. I don't think she was struggling with any of it. I'm not sure if the store-boughts might have been a problem for her. I don't know. She might have been struggling with that. But that's not like a long-term thing. That's a short-term fix. But if she was struggling with what her father-in-law thought she was struggling with, and I think she was, then how is it honoring her memory to pretend that she wasn't? How much better would it be to say, oh my gosh, she had a very real struggle. I just saw your comment, Paula, and then it disappeared because like 5 comments. Here we go. Found it. Paula says, they call me a lonely old woman who will pay if I don't stop talking about the case. Really? Oops. Yeah, this whole lonely old woman thing, who raised them? Do they have a hatred for their grandmother or something? At what point in their childhood did they learn that it made them look anything other than like a total idiot to be calling the more seasoned, wise women among us old and lonely? They're being nicer to you, Paula. To me, they call me the old hag. In this photo, that just I still just shake my head. My friends just like we're all shaking our heads. It's like they don't even know how ridiculous they sound. This photo was like months old when I started that channel. Months. And one of the biggest mouths of all got up there and went, oh, look at that. She's using a photo from 30 years ago. And it's like, really? Is that what you looked like when you were 30? Because if so, I'm sorry for you, babe. Samantha's saying borderline personality disorder, BPD, is one of them, definitely. Do you think so? Or do you think bipolar? And, you know, a lot of the same criteria is there, right? Pink Ladybug says she needed so much attention. And that's, again, that's something that would be worth discussing, right? Just imagine how boring it must have been to have her husband at work all the time, which, I mean, is normal, but how boring to have both children in daycare full time while her husband's at work. You know, she was like, what, getting her nails done, trying to get people to sign up for an MLM. And maybe that's something that could have helped, is if she had a friend who said, you know what, I'm volunteering at the women's shelter, which, by the way, should be called the family shelter. But it'd be nice, you know, if she would have had a friend in real life say, I'm volunteering every Tuesday from noon until 4. We need more help. Or I'm volunteering at the thrift shop and the proceeds go to help the homeless shelter. Would you like to come with me next Tuesday or next Thursday? Because we really need some more hands, you know? We need more help and we could really appreciate your help. That's what she needed. She needed to belong to something other than all those Facebook groups she was joining. Whatever the accomplishment, whatever the impact that one of her accomplishments would have had on another person, could have helped her not feel less than. Just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? What did she do with her time? She texted, she did videos, she was on Facebook. Why was Chris doing laundry? Why was Chris picking up the kids? Why was Chris the one giving Cece the steam shower? Why was Chris the one giving the kids their baths? Why were the kids put to bed at 6:30 at night for her me time? Well, what the hell was the first 20 hours of the day? Or 18, I guess, at that point, right? What was the first 18 hours? Was it Bella time? No. Was it Cece time? No. Was it Chris time? No. Was it Dieter time? No. She had me time 24/7. Maybe that was part of the problem. Maybe she needed to have a little bit of you time. You know what I'm saying? And you know, we're told how she was in charge, she was in control, she had to run everything, blah, blah, blah. I'll tell you, the greatest gift anybody could have given her would have been to do exactly what Cindy Watts did when she was going ballistic and scaring the children on July 8th of 2018. When Cindy said, enough, get out of my house. Cindy drew the line and said, enough. And she put a stop to it. You know, the people attacking us love to tell the story like she decided she was going to get out of there. No, Cindy decided she was going to get out of there because somebody there had to pay attention to the fact that there were frightened children. Hope for Peace is rich. Hope for Peace got a raise today and she just wanted to share. Good for you, Hope for Peace. I agree, Paula, and I think she was Nurse Nene. I think she was Veronica. But I think that Shanann and Shanann were the two main personalities. Lilibet says, but who placed the children in the tanks? Who? Ooh, Mrs. J-Dub has a good one. Cindy and family were gaslighting SW. They were trying to break her. Okay, when did they have the opportunity to do that? And I'm asking honestly because I've actually gone down that path where I thought that was happening. So, and I'm just trying to figure out what you're saying, Mrs. J-Dub. Are you saying on the day of the nut meltdown? Christy says, Samantha, I don't see her isolating or being really depressed. I think she thought she was fabulous. But here's the thing, you guys. We see the videos, right? We see the posts, but those videos didn't take her that long to make. Those kids were in daycare full time, right? Christopher Watts was at work. What if she had days on end where she stayed in bed? Ooh. Samantha, you make an interesting point. Are you talking about detachment? Christy's life is getting more exciting. Lockdown, kids home from school, and she's cooking. Okay, Samantha says no, but they wear a mask. They do wear a mask. Yeah, many have a grandiose self. She did isolate, had no friends except. Okay. Remember, one of the neighbors said that he didn't even recognize her, and they lived there for 5 years. When you guys say DID, are you talking detachment? Paula says, did you know he didn't know what shirt she had on? Yeah, I'm not surprised. Oh, okay. Okay, thank you, Samantha. Well, I think Paula and I both think that there were at least a couple, and I think there were 4 very well defined. Aw, Christy, you're grandiose in our book. Christy isn't feeling grandiose, but she is grandiose in our book. Christy says, yes, what Samantha said. That's how Christy orders in the bar. Yeah, I'll have one of those. I'll have what she's having. Okay, so think about it, right? Oh, I just remembered something. I got to put you guys on mute for just a half a second. Do not lose this train of thought, okay? Because I haven't yawned yet. So we probably have a good half an hour left here. Don't lose this train of thought because this ties into the MLMs also, okay? You remember how we were talking about how people were preying on people who were suffering and stuff? Think about it. Was somebody preying on her? And on that note, I've got to go do something really quick and I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. Do you guys remember not that long ago? This is totally off topic. I told you about the friend of mine. We played a euchre thingy. We dated for like 2 weeks. And we laugh to this day that we ever dated. But he's a hoot, let me tell you. Love him big time. Love him to death. In fact, he and I drove, I can't remember what state we went to. Some state out west. Not out west, but out like Midwest West or West Midwest. That was so fun for a wedding, for one of my nephew's wedding. And I mean, he's just a hoot. He made my mother laugh, let me tell you. Oh, he made my mother laugh. Well, he surprised me today. He and I live like, I think, 800 miles away from each other. He surprised me today. He's going to be in town for like 3 months. So I'm in such a good mood. Okay, Mrs. J. Dub, I first heard about you. Yes. And I went down that rabbit hole, Mrs. J. Dub. And I remember that when I was like, wait a minute here. Blah, 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 blah. I do believe that for the daughter. I'm less keen on believing that for Cindy. Because I do think that Cindy does operate from a base of honesty and being somewhat naive. The daughter, I don't think so. And in fairness to the daughter, okay, and I'm not trying to backpedal here, but I know I am sounding like I'm backpedaling. And I'm not pleased with the daughter at all. I'm not impressed or pleased with the daughter at all. So I'm not sticking up for her, let me tell you. But in fairness to her, think about this. Did you know that when she got fired from the bridal party, it wasn't just her who got fired? It was her and her children. Her children were looking forward to being in Uncle Chris's wedding. And it was her cousin's wife. They all got fired. You want to know why they got fired? They got fired because she could not take the week off work. And Shanann got mad because she told her to take the week off work. And she said, I'm not going to miss any of the parties or any of the, whatever. I can make it. I just can't take the whole week off work. Not good enough. She got fired from the bridal party. Can you imagine telling your small children, yeah, sorry guys, I know that you already have your prince and princess outfits, right? I know you're looking forward to this. I know we've been practicing on how you should walk and how you should throw those little petals out of the basket. But guess what? Your new aunt just fired us all. Like, come on. What are they going to do? Yeah, no, it got canceled. No, it didn't get canceled. Are they supposed to go to that wedding and have their children, Cindy's grandchildren, sit there and watch somebody else throwing those petals? I don't think so. I mean, it kind of reminds you of the whole Markle thing with Charlotte. If I was Cindy's daughter and I got fired and my children got fired from a bridal party, and remember, they got fired right before the wedding is what Cindy says. They already had their clothes all set. They were already fitted. They already purchased the dresses and the suits and everything. So those little babies had their hearts set on being in the wedding, and they got fired. Like, I don't even think we should care about whether or not Jamie got fired or whether or not the cousin's wife got fired. They're big girls. They can take it. But why doesn't anyone care about the fact that 2 small children were fired because Shanann got pissed because Jamie wouldn't take the whole week off work? Come on. So the whole idea of the gaslighting on the day of the nuts, if you fired my kids from your bridal party, I could probably figure out how to gaslight you And I could probably gaslight you without feeling 1 ounce of shame. If I knew you were spazzing about peanuts, or I'm sorry, nuts or whatever, depending on the day, I just might decide I feel like opening up a bag of nuts. And I think every single one of us in this chat, I mean, come on, if you're a Bob, then you know how to gaslight. You see what I mean? And I don't even think it would necessarily be gaslighting. I think it'd be more like almost like a polite Southern Belle way of saying, "Oh my, I didn't realize that you didn't want me to have a nut right in front of you. Oh my, now honey darling, put that killer ice cream up because you know Aunt Shanann gets nervous around killer ice cream." Right? I'd be bringing out my best if I got fired from a bridal party that meant my children had to be disappointed that they couldn't wear their little fancy clothes and throw flower petals at people. Oh, yeah. Hell, I wouldn't even use Cindy's nuts. I'd bring my own bag. You know what I'd do for Christmas and birthdays? I think I'd be wrapping up nuts, putting a bow on them. You can get lots of fancy nuts. And I know that sounds kind of like, not very nice. But how nice is it to fire children from a bridal party? How nice is it to be treating, they weren't ancient, but they were their elders. How nice is it the way they treated Cindy? You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know. You know, I waffle with this issue because I am not at all impressed with Cindy's daughter at all. Mrs. J. says, yeah, that makes it okay. It doesn't make any of it okay. It's all immature, selfish, whatever. And I don't think it's gaslighting as much as I think we're talking about two women who truly didn't like each other. And I don't know if you've ever had to be around somebody who has the kind of personality that she expects to run everyone and be in control and whatever. But can you imagine? And I'm not sticking up for Jamie because, like I said, I don't respect what she's pulling at all. But I think in that case, I'm talking July 8th of 2018, in that case, she's heading out the door to go to work. Her mom's babysitting her kids while she's working. She's dropping the kids off. Okay, so she's getting ready for work, dropping the kids off, getting them ready to go to their Mimi's house. She's probably in a hurry because you and I all know that when you're heading out to work and you've got babies, you're always in a hurry, right? You got to remember everything. You got to make sure, got to even stop to get gas on the way, whatever. She was in a hurry. She had a real job. Dropping her kids off, and then she's got the fake smile going probably because she knows that her brother's wife is there with the kids. So she's probably like, okay, kids, yeah, this will be fun. You get to see the girls. Yay. Woohoo. And she's probably walking in the door going, hey, Shanann. Hey, Shanann. Or whatever she called her. Hugs, hugs, kisses, kisses. Gotta run. Right? Who knows what was said? Who knows? You know, if you look at the Discovery docs, it sounds like Shanann was on the phone telling her mother that she was being tag teamed by Cindy and Jamie. Okay? Was she? I don't know. Personally, I don't think that Cindy could really tag team. I think Jamie could. But I don't think Cindy really could. She strikes me as somebody who would like start laughing hysterically if she tried. You know, nervous laughter. I don't get what Interrupter's saying. Let me see here. Okay, I don't get what you're saying, interrupter. Okay, so if they don't have empathy, that would explain the disconnect, right? Oh, you want a laptop, right? Or, oh, the kids are monsters when they were hysterical, right? Remember when she put, I think it was Cece on Santa's lap and she said, oh, I'll stay right here. I'll stay right here. I'll stay right here by you. She puts her on his lap and she takes off into the next room. Christy says, I have too much empathy. Crystal likes the idea of wrapping up nuts for Christmas. The other part of it, though, you guys, is that according to Cindy, Jamie was only there for a few minutes. So, like, I don't care if she walked in the door and said, guess what, BITCH? The day you fired my children from your wedding party, I decided that you're nothing but a BITCH. So what? If she was only there 3 minutes, whatever. But yeah, I could see her saying, hey, I'm going to pour some nuts in a bowl and set them out and watch her flip. I could see her doing that probably. And the reason I say that is I think that she probably was pretty sick of her before she even married her brother. I think she probably had fake smiles on her face. And I bet you she was probably worried about her own kids, dropping them off, but she had to go to work. That's one thing about the Watts family. They seem to have a really strong work ethic, don't they? All of them. So yeah, do I think that she probably did a little dig? Yeah, I do. Do I think that she thought that it would be such a trigger? No. But I bet you she probably enjoyed hearing about it. And if you think about it too, Shanann was married to her baby brother. She was probably like throwing her hands in the air years before that already, thinking, what the heck is he doing? Like she probably had better hopes for her baby brother than the way he was acting. I bet she enjoyed seeing Bella and Cece. But if seeing Bella and Cece meant that she had to deal with her sister-in-law, I bet she didn't enjoy it that much. And you know, she probably was watching Cindy too. I mean, think about this, okay? Cindy and her daughter are really close. And, you know, they are. They're just close. They don't yell, scream, hit, you know, whatever, any of that stuff. They don't kick. They don't threaten. They don't, whatever. They're close. Because if you think about it, we've been told that Shanann was a pretty feisty one with a temper. Okay? But we don't ever hear that about Jamie or Cindy, do we? So she's probably enjoying the time she spends with her mom, and then all of a sudden her sister-in-law lands from Colorado, and she hears her mom saying that she took her up to Walmart and spent $375. and she hears her mom say, "Oh my gosh, I'm so tired. I've got to clean house. You know, Shannon and the girls just left. I got to get this place back into shape," right? She's probably sitting there going, "Mama, why don't you tell Shannon to get off her butt?" You know, she's probably sitting there going, "Who the hell is she to have my mother spend $375 on her at Walmart? Remember, she was successful. She earned her car. She traveled, right? Then why is she having Cindy spend $375 on her at Walmart?" That might have made Jamie mad. Samantha says they normally split when backed into a corner. Well, I have a different theory. I think pregnancy played a role in when things would become more difficult, right? Yes, abandonment is a huge issue, huge for both BPD, right? All of them. But abandonment is huge for bipolar and huge for BPD. What's not true, Christy? That you have too much empathy? Oh, Christy says we are not all the same. Yeah, abandonment is huge. Abandonment is actually a very huge trigger. So I find it interesting that we're told that she came home and confronted Christopher Watts. What was the issue? Abandonment. I think between Christy and Samantha, I think we all know it isn't all. And we all know that there are a lot of different variations, a lot of different levels and intensities. We know. We know. Christy says, "Oh, this is interesting, Christy. I don't care less about abandonment, don't have those issues. Have you ever been abandoned?" Right. Not one size fits all. Shayla's here. Hi, Shayla. Shayla's actually a guy, you guys. He stopped by the other day. Remember him? Yeah, Shayla's back. Christy remembers him. More of a Cameron alert than a Karen, but you're right. Interrupt her. I think it's interesting, too, that he wastes his time coming to a live chat on a subject matter that he obviously is not interested in discussing. Ooh, Shayla knows how to spell, right with all the rest of them. Look at that. Shayla, I think we had an issue with your spelling last time, too. Pink Ladybug is waving bye-bye. Correct, Samantha. Abandonment is trauma. And it is interesting. I'm curious if the abandonment has ever happened. And I asked that question because you guys know I speak to the well, they're not, I don't really speak to survivors. What happens is I speak to groups which are like 200, 250, sometimes more when they do their annual fundraiser thing for their stuff. And there are survivors in the audience, of course, who then share a lot of their personal stories. And it's always amazing because they all say the same things. And I have had people say before that they don't have an abandonment issue. And then I ask the question, have you ever been abandoned? And then they kind of like take inventory and go, no, they haven't. Which, and I'm not trying to like, I mean, and don't put it up there if you don't feel comfortable sharing it. But sometimes you don't know if you have that issue because you haven't been abandoned. So you see what I mean? Samantha says, yep, that's how my brother and sister have it. My mother abandoned us for her. Ooh, pedo. Ooh, pedo. Ooh. It's kind of like the women who come up to me and say, yeah, my husband hit me one time. And I told him, don't you do that again. And he never hit me again. And then I asked the question, well, do you talk back? Like, oh, no, they don't, you know? Okay. So I guess they pretty much figured out what not to do, right? And I'm sorry, if you live in a home where you're not free to speak, where you're not free to have your own opinion, where you're not free to challenge the status quo and say, whoa, wait a minute, right? Christy says, I don't want to talk about this anymore, making me feel anxious. Aw, sorry about that, lovey. Love you too. Lots of love, LOL. Samantha, that totally sucks. I'm sorry to hear that. Did she ever divorce him? Did she ever like realize what was going on? Or is she like standing by her man routine? Samantha is sending you love, Christy. If you guys want, we can talk about dogs. We could always talk about menopause. That'd be fun. If Paula's still here, she and I can probably get a really good, funny, a good, funny. Paula and I could probably give you guys some really fun little stories. Like, seriously, all of a sudden, doesn't matter how cold it is outside, all of a sudden, when you're a menopausal mama, actually a menopausal Grammy, it gets hot. Like, you don't know what hot is until you're menopausal. Oh, no way. Samantha, really? She knew? Are you sure she knew? Does she have a problem with believing? Is that her thing? I think what you're saying, Samantha, is that your radar is finely tuned. I think that's one thing. If you're a survivor of trauma, then you have a finely tuned radar, which doesn't necessarily make your life easy. You know, if your radar's constantly swirling, well, it takes more energy. I'll say it that way, right? Takes more energy. I love this, Samantha. We have 49 people in here, And you and I are talking. 50 people. So we have 49 other people who like listening about it. So you're the oldest then, Samantha? I think the oldest have the hardest time. I think the oldest have the toughest time because the younger ones have the oldest, to kind of help. You know what I mean? Oh, Christy, I didn't see your comment. If you're still here, yes, but mostly I do the abandoning. And that can be an abandonment issue too. But the whole ghosting thing is kind of a black or white, all or nothing thing. Oh, you're the youngest and you saved your sister? That's unusual. Usually it's the oldest who saves your sister. Oh, man. Oh, man. Man, that sucks. I'm sorry. When I did my undergrad, I focused on trauma, healing, trauma recovery, intimate partner, and child abuse. And one of the takeaways, big time, from all of those years of study and research was that when the person who has harmed you in your own safe space, the healing is so much more difficult. And I think sometimes it's lifelong. When a person harms you who is supposed to protect you, on top of that, right, the person who is supposed to protect you harms you in what is supposed to be your safe space, whether it's your home or your bedroom, right, with what we're talking about. But even if it's in your yard or your car or, you know, your driveway or whatever, if it's where you're supposed to be safe and if it's harm caused by somebody who is supposed to protect you, how do you heal from that? If you're walking down a dark alley at 2 o'clock in the morning in a neighborhood that you know you shouldn't be walking down a dark alley at 2 o'clock in the morning, and someone jumps out from behind the dumpster and grabs you, okay, there's healing from that. But if you're a child in your own home and one of your protectors not only doesn't protect you, which would be the other parent, right, but absolutely harms you, how do you heal? When do you heal? When do you heal all the way? Do you ever heal all the way? And I think it's interesting too that so many times it's the non-offending parent who is on the receiving end of the hurt and the anger and the animosity even for what a child lived through. And I'll tell you why. Because the non-offending parent is the safer parent to have those feelings for. Right. Samantha, you're exactly right. You never heal all the way, but you do realize exactly that's what makes you your life's experiences. And there's a cognitive benefit or gain or progress, right? And then there's the emotional, there's the spiritual, there's even the physical, because your cells have memory. And I'm not saying you have to be a full blown PTSD, blah, blah, blah. I'm saying that your cells have memory. So it might be 20 years later and your body remembers, right? And then your spirituality, your emotional, your cognitive awareness or not, denial, what's surfacing, what isn't surfacing. There's so many layers to healing. As opposed to the dark alley, someone jumping out from behind the dumpster, okay? Because that's stranger. That's in a space where you don't inherently feel safe anyway, and that's a stranger. Yes, Lilibet, correct. Lilibet says, you're so smart, LOL, lots of love. And the cell memory is true. It's real. It's not just some kind of hubbub theory, you know, it's real. I have spoken with many survivors who continue to have the cell memory decades later. Well, are you sure you have PTSD, Samantha? Because I think a lot of people think they have it, or they might look at the list of symptoms on a website or something and say, oh, yeah, but it's actually far less prevalent than what people think. And I would just caution you as far as labels, because sometimes as a survivor, you might find, oh, okay, it is. How long ago was it? I mean, I shouldn't ask you that question. I'm sorry. We're getting too personal here. Sorry about that. But you might want to re-examine that and take a look at the, um, speak with whoever has diagnosed it and re-examine that, because it could be something that was not necessarily, no, not the trauma, the diagnosis. It could be something that is not necessarily forever, right? And you know how the whole thing works with stressors, with progressing as far as even just talk therapy. I don't know if you have found touch therapy has been beneficial or not, but I've heard from over, I would say, hundreds of survivors who have found just tremendous healing with touch therapy. Are you familiar with meridian tapping, Samantha? Ooh, okay. You're going to want to become familiar with meridian tapping. And here's the theory, is that because the violation was physical, then I don't want to use the word healing, but the tools that can help can be physical, and it makes sense, right? Meridian tapping is where you have pressure points on your body, energy fields, energy flow, and you can, find a counselor or find a meridian tapper and learn, or even just you can research it yourself and learn all about it. And don't ask me how it works, but I literally know hundreds of people. I've known probably, I would say for like the last 15 years or so. No, that long or not? Wow. Yeah, like 10, 12, 13 years who have benefited from meridian tapping. Lilibet says it could come from the teacher in second grade yelling at us, "We never forget the fear." That's a really good point, Lilibet. We're talking about different layers, different levels. And again, if you're in the second grade and the teacher is yelling at you and you're able to go home to a safety zone and have protective parents, one or both, then you do have a safe space that has not been violated. Even though, yes, you should feel safe in the classroom. So the levels and the layers are very different. Yes. Yes, Samantha. But it's not just your wrist. It's your temples. It's your right above your eyebrows. It's your upper lip. If you ever find yourself with your fingers on your upper lip and you're just kind of tapping and you'll go, whoa, why am I doing this? Well, your body could naturally be soothing, self-soothing. I think you would really benefit from it, Samantha. I think you would. I think I know that hundreds of people have, because hundreds of people have shared with me how important it is for them to incorporate touch therapy. The same with yoga, the same with stretching, the same with dance. You want to be able to move and have that freedom and that strength and build that strength. Samantha says Bella always looks to Shanann for her reaction before she moved or spoke. I agree with you, Samantha. I agree with you. That look in her eyes is just haunting. Very good. And also, if you can walk on places that are actually the earth, that might sound kind of weird, but there's a lot of good research to back this up. Like if you're walking down at you know, the park in the middle of the city or whatever, and they have walking trails that are actually paved, then from time to time walk on the grass, walk beside the trail and connect. And I'm not saying walk around barefoot, because like too many people litter and stuff. You don't want to do that. And you don't want like duck poop on your feet or anything. Good, good. So see, you're finding your natural healing. That's really good. Definitely check out meridian tapping and also dance. I know a lot of people stress yoga is so wonderful and great and whatever. I've met a lot of survivors who are not able to incorporate yoga. And I don't know why. I'm still kind of dwelling on that to think, why are so many people, they try it because they're told by their counselors, or they're told, or they read a self-help book or whatever, right? Or just I think our culture is saying, oh, yoga is great. But for some reason, they're not, just too many people have told me that they're not able to do yoga after they've actually tried to do yoga, that they just have had too many times where they've been triggered. And I think, just like my initial thought would be that they would feel vulnerable, right? But the benefits, I would think, should outweigh. And if it's in a safe space, then it seems over time they would begin to feel safer. I don't know. Wow, Samantha, we have 52 other people who are loving our conversation. That's a hint for the other 52 people to jump in and say, hey. They're probably like Googling meridian tapping right now. They're probably tapping their wrists right now and their temples. So any of you in the shadows who are just enjoying Samantha and my conversation, definitely check out meridian tapping. Definitely do. And breathing is good. Breathing is really good. And if you don't have a pet, get a pet. Because you know what? You got to take your pet for a walk. Well, I think, Samantha, to have that many people sitting there not talking, I think what it tells me is that a lot of them have had the same kinds of experiences, the same types of experience. Crystal's here. Crystal says, I'm cleaning my house and wondering how I could stalk you long enough to tell you my story. Okay, Crystal, you're up. Yeah, really, 5 more since yesterday. Just when you go to PetSmart to load up on the dog food, don't fall for their adoption thing. That was not an indoor cat, let me tell you. Okay, Samantha, Crystal's going to tell us her story. Elise is here. Hi, Elise. Hey, MJ. Samantha, disabled with bad kidneys, no more pets or kids. Is that from sugar? Are they bad, or are they going bad? Elise says, love the last chat, helped a lot. What did we talk about, Elise? Was that about Grandma Watts's stitches? Crystal says, which one? The one where I was severely asthmatic and my father smoked 3 packs a day and the doctor had to send me to a sanitarium to get me out of the house to save my lungs. Wow. Are you and I about the same age? Whoa, whoa, whoa. How long ago was it? If you're talking in the 50s or 60s, they didn't know. They honestly didn't know. I have a friend who's in her 90s. She and I have been friends since she was in her. Is she in her 90s? Let me think. She'd be in her early 90s. I have to stop and think how old she was. I was in my early 20s. So, yeah. So she would have been like late 40s. Anyway, she said that everybody smoked back in like the 50s and 60s. She was like, everybody smoked. And they honestly didn't know that it was bad. I mean, she laughed about it. She said as soon as the Surgeon General came out, like sometime in the 1950s, and said, this might not be a good idea, that they thought, oh, really? Like nobody realized. And I don't know if you ever hung out in bowling alleys when you were a kid, if your parents were big time bowlers or if your family would go bowling. But I think if you ever went to any of the bowling alleys I was at, I mean, seriously, or the pizza places where my brother and I used to go down and play the pinball machines. I mean, you couldn't walk in without, it was like a cloud, right? And I honestly believe people did not know. I think it was actually in the 70s when, the whole social thing became like, hey, wait a minute, you shouldn't do that around kids. You know what I mean? Well, if okay, then there's a good point. If you told them, Crystal, if he told you that he didn't think it would hurt, do you think he meant it? Do you think he honestly believed it wouldn't hurt? And I'm not sticking up. I mean, obviously, it would have been nice if he would have said, okay, no more smoking in the house or whatever, right? But in that time frame, they didn't know. They did not know. Were you in what'd you say, the sanitarium? Like they removed you from the home? Because that doesn't make sense to me. If they're going to remove you from the home because of it, why didn't the doctor tell your dad, don't do it? It seems weird that they took you out of the home. Are you mad at your mom for not making it different? Samantha's taking a break. She's probably hooking up the heat lamps for the babies. For 18 months, Mississippi Preventorium. There's a Facebook page. I'm famous on it. LOL, look it up. Lots of love. So it must be that they believed that the only way they could give you the help. Interesting. I bet your mother was just beside herself with you not being able to be at home. Your father was probably like feeling guilty big time. Oh, here's another lost dog. I just got an alert thing. We have a thing around here where people can post their lost dog. Crystal says it's taken me 50 years to know it was the times, but I'm still mad. I would say this, Crystal. If I wouldn't have had my close friend the woman in her 90s I told you about, I wouldn't have known because she explained it all to me. I wouldn't have known. But like she's a completely intelligent woman. Her husband was absolutely intelligent. Their children are all super intelligent. And she and her husband both smoked. They had no idea. They didn't smoke forever. They stopped as soon as they found out it wasn't good, right? Don't worry is complaining about her mother-in-law. Oh my gosh. It is. Samantha makes a good point, Crystal. It is hard when your parents let you down. You think she had Munchausen? Like, or Martyr? Are you saying Martyr for the M or Munchausen? I bet she did feel really bad. I bet she missed you a lot. Don't worry. The reason I laughed, like I'm not laughing at you, I'm really not. But the reason I laughed is because this whole thing of like, wash your hands, put a blanket over your shoulder, right? All that stuff. Like, that's relatively new. Like relatively new. And I was guilty of it, let me tell you. I think we all were. Especially with our oldest. You know how your oldest is like the Munchausen one. Well, plus if you think about it, if your dad was smoking 3 packs a day, your dad had some anxiety going on, I think, don't you think? Because the nicotine is actually like, isn't that the whole anxiety thing? That's one of 6? Okay, you go get to cleaning, girl. I almost said girlfriend. Samantha says the one you break. LOL, the oldest. Lilibet had a wonderful mom. And a Playboy? Oh my. Well, but Interrupter, that's another thing. Playboy was not, it was not like people think of it now. I gave my husband Playboy every year for Christmas, the 1 year subscription. Playboy, it was not like, it's not like, oh, that's porn. Men had Playboy. You know, they did. Men had Playboy magazines. It wasn't a terrible thing. I've been to the Playboy, what you call it? I don't know. It was like a little restaurant place. What's it called? I don't know. Before they closed them down. You know, they're not. Um, I mean, you guys know what the word zeitgeist means? I think it's Zeitgeist. I think. And the whole thinking behind that interrupter, the thinking parents used to do that because the what they were thinking was they wanted them to go ahead and smoke too many so they wouldn't want another one. Well, and if he wasn't there, he might have had anxiety going on, Crystal. You know, parents, yeah, the Playboy Club, duh. Thank you, Lil Beth. You know, but if your parent drank or if your parent smoked or if your parent, you know, I mean, so many people right now, they're going, oh, my mother was a narcissist or my mother was this or my mother was that. Well, you know what? Your mother was a human. who probably loved you with all her heart, but they're humans, right? We want them to be perfect, but they're humans. Oh, Elise had the last chat about Miss CD's date. Well, Elise, if you missed it, she's got a keeper this time. She's got a keeper. He has 3 daughters, though, so that'll be interesting to hear about down the road. Ooh, Interrupter. Interrupter can Google really well. Zeitgeist, the defining spirit or mood of a particular period of history as shown by the ideas and beliefs of the time. I think the zeitgeist of the times, the smoking, the drinking, you know, I don't think that they were not loving you, not caring about you, not wanting only the best for you. But if you start with the basics that they're just a human being, and then, okay, they got hooked on whatever and they were doing whatever, and their culture didn't present to them that they were doing anything. Okay? Right? And then I think it's really important to take a step even further back to the zeitgeist of their parents' time. You know, their parents' time, they might have gotten the belt for sneezing at the dinner table. They might have gotten the belt because dad got home in a bad mood. Okay? And I think if you look at your parents and you see that either one or both of them had a rough time at whatever point, right? I have parents who both lost their mothers at age 3. Age 3, they lost their mothers. You know, and my parents were not perfect. But can you imagine losing your mom at age 3? My dad served in the Army Air Force back when it was called the Army Air Force. That's how long ago it was. He saw things that he didn't talk about much. He talked about it with me. And my dad was tall and tough and smart and always together, right? But when he talked with me about his time in the Army Air Force, I saw tears in his eyes. Not running down his face, because he was tall and he was tough. He was smart. I think that's something with age, with time, and not just age, not just a number, but with time, with wisdom, right? That we can see others are humans. Although I am wondering about all the people who are coming to town from all these different states. I live in an area where evidently the word got out that, you know, the whole routine over the last year, right? Well, I think word got out that, I don't know if they think that we don't have it here or something. I think what happened is word got out that there weren't a whole lot of people here who were worrying about not hugging people, okay? So we have so many people flocking here. We have California, we have Colorado, we have, I'm telling you, we're the United Nations, I think, where people go. And they were coming here while everyone was still wearing masks and stuff in the rest of the world. And they were coming here going, sweet, we don't have to wear a mask. Well, yeah, they were supposed to wear a mask, but they didn't. You know, what do they care? right? Because they want their freedom. I'm not sure that they're humans, because I'll tell you, the way they drive, Oh, wow. Pearl Harbor, Lilibet. Cool. Interrupter says, my mom was a hippie. She smoked weed with me, but not until I was 18. Uh, exactly, Samantha. And that's what parents want, is parents want their babies to have it better than they had it, right? That's like a human thing, right? I wonder if all these people flocking to this area want their babies to have it better. I don't know. I'm not sure they're human. I'm telling you, they don't know how to drive. You guys know what a roundabout is, right? What is with it if it's an out of state plate and a roundabout and all hell breaks loose? Don't they have roundabouts where they come from? Do we need to have like a traffic cop there at the roundabout to teach the out of state platers how to keep moving? No, slam on the brakes. The same thing with people who drive Subarus. Why is it when you see an accident at a roundabout, it's always a Subaru? Why? We're on a roll here, aren't we? So, okay, Samantha has 5 new babies. Ray's going to have a new baby soon. Elise is cool about Miss CD. That's going to be a fun relationship to watch. And I hope that this guy proposes to her on this channel. Lilibet knows what the Playboy Club is. That's cool. I couldn't think of it. I can picture it, but I can't think of it. I couldn't think of what it was called. I'm reading Samantha's. I don't like my ma'am, but I've still learned a lot from her. Well, you don't have to like her, but I think you do maybe want to be able to love her. You know what I mean? You don't have to like her, but I think for yourself, right? And let me tell you something. For any of you who are a lot younger than me, one thing I've learned through the years, through the decades, here's a little bit of wisdom for you. Especially if you're like a churchgoer and stuff, and you see the people on Sunday, I guess that's a good example to use, is the whole Sunday morning church thing. You know how they're dressed to the nines and they're, driving their better cars and the cars are shiny and so are they. Well, when you get older and you know little things about this one and little things about that one, and you know how they, you know, shine up nice on Sunday morning, you pretty much figure, I mean, I do, I would much rather have had my parents who were real than to have some kind of a facade, right? Because it doesn't matter what family you're from at all. Humans are human. Humans aren't perfect. The best thing you can hope for, I think, when you have suffered through something like we were talking about earlier with Samantha and everything, the best thing you can hope for is to be able to reach a point of peacefulness about what you went through. And if you were paying attention, Samantha posted some really powerful comments about how her experiences have shaped her, have made her the person who she is, right? That's a really positive outlook. That's a really positive reaction to embrace those experiences, right? And to say, okay, I understand this and I get this and I'm okay. Okay? Well, we need to do the same thing, I think, for our parents, for our grandparents, for our siblings, for whoever, and say, ooh, they're humans. And this kind of brings us back to the beginning of this live chat. You know, I think the best way to honor Shanann Watts is to speak of her honestly. Because to not speak of her honestly, then we're not honoring her at all. You're welcome, Samantha. You didn't think I read them, did you? I read everything. I read everything you put up. Okay. Don't worry makes a good point. The connectedness, the connection. It's a very good point, and it fits right into this discussion. There was a disconnect going on, which is what we were talking about before, about whether or not Shanann, Veronica, Nurse Nene, that connection can be so difficult if there is any type of struggle going on, okay? And then, was it Christy or Kirsty? I think it was Christy who commented. Sorry if I've got it wrong, but I think it was Christy, that Bella would watch for the reaction, like with apprehension, with an anxiousness to see, right? Now, there was a connection, but was there a connection of safety and strength and protectiveness, right? Or protection for Bella? Or was there a connection of what's she going to pull next? Okay. What's going to happen next? And when a child is looking for what's going to happen next, then it goes back to the part that I was saying about how if you're walking down a dark alley at 2 a.m. and someone jumps out from behind the dumpster, that's a whole different story than if you're in your own home. Bella was in her own home when she had that look on her face, right? But then all you have to do is pull up the video of Shanann spraying Bella in the eyes over and over again, not just once, not just a silly spray, oops, sorry, haha, right? No comfort offered, no comfort given. Bella ran. Chris opened the door. And what did Shanann say? Don't you save her. Bella returned and took it. She stood there and she took it. What does that tell us about what's going on when the camera's off? Children who have been subjected to that sort of treatment, they know how to survive. I don't know too many kids who would have returned and stood there so their laughing mother could spray them in the face. I know a whole bunch of kids who'd say, "Don't spray me," or they would have grabbed the bottle and doused that phone. Doused it. Was Bella safe to do that? Was she safe to say don't? Look at what happened in the Whack-A-Daddy video. Bella removed herself from the Whack-A-Daddy game. She didn't want to play Whack-A-Daddy. She didn't want to play. She hid under a chair. But notice how she hid, which is another thing. Why didn't she go to her room? Why didn't she go to the basement? Why didn't she go to the other room and turn on the television? Why did she have to stay right there? Have you ever noticed how the kids didn't seem to have free reign even in their own house? I mean, where I come from, kids at 2 years old are climbing trees and taking off and doing whatever the heck they want to do. And the parents are having a hard time going, oh crap, where is he now? Or keeping the car keys in their pockets because they know he wants to start the car, right? Bella? Bella sat there. Bella sat there and watched. Why didn't she leave? Did she have permission to leave? Did she have the freedom to leave? Did she speak? Did she have the permission or the freedom to speak? She hid under a chair. And she didn't hide looking the other way and reading a book or playing with a toy, otherwise, distracted from the Whack-A-Daddy crap. She positioned herself so that she could keep watching. And then what happened? Her mother came toward her and was acting like she would be next for the game. And then what happened? Bella started to cry. And then what happened? Her mother played like she was the martyr mom with the little monster. Yep, I see your comments. You guys are saying exactly what I'm saying. Donut Worry says, if a father encouraged his two sons to hit their mother, would you still feel the same? And before that, Donut Worry says, it would have been difficult for CW to tell the girls to stop hitting him and throwing stuff at him when SW was encouraging. Yeah, she sat right there and was telling everyone exactly what to do, wasn't she? Remember, she was holding the spray can of whipped cream. I think she should have put her face right in that little Whack-A-Daddy hole and let Bella decide whether or not she wanted to play, because I'll bet you Bella and Cece and Chris, all three of them, would not have dared to play the Whack-A-Daddy game if Shannon's face was in the hole. Yes, Lilibet said, get her, get her, Chris. Yep. And then he would, right? And he'd stand there and hold her there, and she'd be going, no, no. And we're the ones who are saying bad things? I don't think so. I think we're the ones who are taking a look at those videos and going, this isn't okay. If you watch those videos and say this is okay, then I'm sorry. Hopefully there are parenting classes for you. Hopefully there are books you can read or whatever. What planet, on what planet is it okay to say to your child who wants long hair, when they're fussy, to lean in and whisper, do you need a haircut? Because you know what that's really saying? You're going to do what I say right now, or I'm going to chop off your hair. How is that okay? It isn't okay. On the lakes drinking buddy isn't here. I sent her an email. Let me see if she responded. She hasn't responded, so I bet she's sleeping. Because isn't it like in the middle? I don't know. I have no idea. Papa Squat. You know where that came from, right? Samantha says Susie was having a go at the Atlanta banana. Was that recently or a couple days ago? I mean, was that like today or was it a couple days ago? Yeah, I don't think Susie takes any guff from anyone. Kappa Squat, not Papa Squat. It's Kappa Squat, like take a squat, like have a seat. I first heard that term 25 years ago. It was said by Julia Roberts in the movie Pretty Women or Pretty Woman with Richard Gere. It was the day that she talked him into taking the day off work. Remember how he was such a little workaholic? And they went to the park and they just sat around and he actually relaxed probably for the first time in forever. And when they went to sit down, she said, "Let's cop a squat." And he kind of looked with that little Richard Gere beady eyed look, you know? And ever since then, people have said cop a squat. Samantha says, recently on the NHL seen a comment, but most had been deleted, so not sure what it was over, but she called her out. Go, Susie. I like Susie. She's funny. I don't know, though. I always tell you guys don't engage. They're not worth it. Don't worry says she would get them so worked up during playtime just to show what she had to deal with it. And the thing is, she never had to deal with it. They were in daycare all the time. I think that's what happened with a nut meltdown. I think Cece threw a fit, and I think she didn't know how to handle it. Samantha says, I was just meningitis. Didn't leave a comment. Meningitis? Meninger? Either I'm getting tired or you guys are getting goofy. Nebbing? The girls already slept so much. They had to be put in the rooms with light blacking curtains and a freaky loud rain machine. Nosy? You went from meningitis to meninger to nebbing to nosy? That's hilarious. I think that's because you didn't get any sleep last night, Samantha. You guys getting tired yet? I haven't yawned, but we should probably call it a night. Autocorrect that too. Donut Worry says, what about the video where Shanann yanks Cece's arm and makes her do squats? Yeah, that one. That that was one that people were talking about the other day, telling her to do squats. Ridiculous. And it all brings us back to the, you know, stuff we were talking about when we started this live chat. It's like, I'm sorry, but if we can't discuss this stuff, then I guess it becomes okay to yank her arm and to tell her to do squats. What was she, 2.5, 3? Not even 3? What? The date of the video was January 19, 2017? So she was a year and a half old? Wow. Oh, got it. Okay. Yeah, you went from meningitis to nosy, Samantha. So here's the thing. I guess, I missed the memo that we can't say that we think that OJ was guilty. I missed the memo that we can't say that Stephen Avery is innocent. I missed the memo that we're no longer allowed to say Darlie Routier is innocent. And I'm not saying those are my opinions on any of those cases. But guess what? The case of Christopher Watts is on the public stage. It's a true crime case. It was in the headline news, right? Guess what? There are a lot of things about this case that true crimers who actually do discuss true crime cases that are on the public stage, and I'm not talking YouTube, I'm not talking Facebook. That is not the definition of the public stage at all. There are so many issues with this case that are begging us to discuss them. And I think one of the core issues of this case is that poor little Bella and Cece deserved to be protected, and they were failed by society. And we don't need to fail them a second time by pretending away what we see in all of those videos and all of those comments posted. I've fallen in love. It will take drastic measures for me to be with the one I truly belong with. March 2nd, 2017. Coincidentally, right after, she returned from a 5-day MLM lifestyle getaway. Chris was with her, but 5 days? Yeah. And on that note, let's go ahead and call it a night. We'll do this again very soon. And as soon as I get the book up on Kindle, which I should have been working on that tonight, but that's okay. This is a lot more fun than trying to get all of the little lining up the little paragraphs just right. But, I'm just going to keep on busting my butt trying to get it done. As soon as I get it done, you guys will be the first to know. Actually, you'll be the second to know. Because as soon as I get it done, I'll go ahead and post the thingy up in the Patreon and say, yay, it's done. But as soon as it's up there, the Kindle ones, when I put stuff up on Kindle, it's really fast. The Amazon ones take a couple of days, but I'll keep you guys in the loop. Everything's set to go. The cover's already designed. Everything's good to go. The copyright stuff is all done. It is good to go. Every word is already in it. I'm just lining up the pages and the paragraphs so that like I don't have any spaces in between and stuff that, you know what I mean? I'm just scrolling through the whole thing. 247 pages. It was up to 300, but I told you guys how every time I go through it with a fine tooth comb that I'm like tweaking here and tweaking there a little bit. So the words are done. 247 pages of words. And now I'm just making sure before I hit that button to send it to Kindle that I have it just right. I do have to figure out about the cost thing on it because the print one, like Amazon sets their minimum depending on pages and everything and like density and stuff. Kindle, there's a little more flexibility, I think. Like they have a couple different choices about it if you want it to be in the what they call the matchbook thing and stuff like that. I was actually thinking of putting like $100 price tag on it for like 24 hours just for fun. See how many people buy it. I don't mean you guys. I mean the attackers who are like, I want to see it. But that just joking. So anyway, hopefully that'll be very soon, as in like I'm hoping tonight, tomorrow, whatever, but it's really late right now, so it won't be tonight now. But I'm trying to get that done. And as soon as I do, I'll let you guys know. If I don't talk with you guys over the weekend, everyone have a great and a safe and a fun holiday weekend. I'm thinking maybe Monday evening. I'm not sure. But if not, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, we'll connect again. So everyone have a wonderful holiday weekend. And remember, should we say goodnight to John Boy? Is Sharon still here? Sharon, you should do the honors. Because Sharon thinks John Boy is cute. She was young. Donut says SW was a pincher. Smile or get pinched with claws. Ooh, that reminds me of something. Have you guys seen the picture where she's putting her fingernails right into Cece's face? Trying to like, what was it? Something about her torn frenulum or whatever it is, some weird thing. Supposedly, I think she was saying she had to take her in for the dentist or something. She was like putting her fingers right in Cece's face, like really bad. I agree. It wasn't their home. And I think that really deserves to be explored. Yeah, really, Samantha. Thanks for listening to the Sam and Miss Mensa show today. If you'd like, Sam, I will go ahead and delete this if you want. If you want me to, that's fine. Nobody will kick you or kick us or whatever, because I know we talked about some really personal things. If you want me to, just give me the word. If you decide an hour from now or 2 days from now or whatever that you don't want it up there, you can reach me at missmensa@gmail. No problemo. Lilibet says her cut lip. But did you see that picture where she had her nails right into her face? Donut Worry says she was the warden. She changed the rules when it suited her. She controlled what and when they ate or drank, slept and played. Doctor's appointments, rectal temperatures, 4 hospitals in Aurora filled with endless specialists, all to be seen without a necessary insurance referral. Samantha says, LOL, lots of love. No, defo don't do that. I wouldn't speak on it if it wasn't to be shared. Yeah, but if you do, no kidding. I mean, if it's 2 weeks from now and you go, yeah, I don't know, then just holler. Yes, a picture of the pups would be great. And I'm glad you named the runt Tiny. That's sweet. I like that. Donut Worry says, every aspect of their short little lives were micromanaged. They were existing in her world. They were not her world by existing. I don't think she was connected. I think Chris and the girls were connected, but I don't think she was. We just hit the 4-hour mark. 4 hours. Stop talking about the case. Good night, John Boy. Good night, Mary Ellen. Good night, Grandma. I love Samantha's autocorrect. Thank you so much for the eat, Miss Mensa. You make us all feel. Oh, I get it. Like we have a voice. You do have a voice. We do have a voice. And you know what? I think that by discussing this case and by, discussing the tough stuff that nobody else dares to discuss, by discussing the tough stuff, I think we're giving a voice to Bella's experience. Now Samantha is randomly typing words by saying ear, E-A-R. I love you, Samantha. I love all you guys. And I'm really glad y'all hung in there with us. Join us next time for Samantha and I to talk about dogs. Yes, that is why we have to talk about it. If we don't talk about it, then guess what? Then the next tragedy will happen. The next tragedy will happen. It'll keep on happening. We need to call them out and say, wait a minute. You tell me what dose is lots of Tylenol. And for the people who say, stop talking about the case, guess what? True crimers talk about closed cases because that's what they say. It's closed. Stop talking about it. Yeah, that's what true crimers do. They talk about closed cases. Just think about O.J. Simpson. Just think about Darlie Routier. Actually, Samantha, don't get a better phone because I think you make the chat exciting with all of your cool words. Donut says, I think that is Cece's real dad. She treated Bella like shit because it was CW's kid. Ah. Okay. We'll talk more later. Everyone have a great weekend. And remember, be safe, be happy, be healthy, and know that you are loved.